was, let me fucking drop it in the Discord real quick.
So we're live.
Well, now you can drop it in the Discord.
Yeah,
Okay, I see it now.
trying to get this set up real quick. FOMO, have you ever sent in? Oh, guys, if you're just getting here later, Suge is out. He is running a marathon. He has a life, unlike us, which it's also broad daylight where he is, running on a beautiful island claimed by Japan. So,
Or so he says. He could be out partying on a Saturday night,
right.
for all we know.
Well, for him, it wouldn't be Saturday night.
Yeah, it'd be
though.
Sunday, like 12 noon.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
But anyway, should be here next week.
Have you ever sent out an all Cosmos promo submission?
Ooh.
What do you think about that? Because I've got like
Starting off with the spicy.
all my best of the best.
All right.
Think I'll get wrecked?
What Cosmos? Just all Cosmos?
All
All
like,
different types? What kinds?
me
Needs to
see.
know.
Let me see.
All right.
Okay, these don't really count as Cosmos, but they're still in the realm, right? But we got the okay. These are a bunch of Fuecotos,
Those stamped
Sprigatitos,
promos.
but then we go to the Snorlaxes.
Okay.
Sharp.
By Shark.
Bisharp, yeah. The Arcanine.
Palma.
Yeah, a little sequential right here.
Palma.
I put Cosmos Hollow and
Tandem.
Pokédata.
I mean,
Are they
they're
gonna pop
all.
up?
That's a classic collection. I've got a couple more, but
Oh my
they
God,
look
they are.
so good, and the margins are like bays. If you wanted to send a couple good looking promos that cost like a
Yeah.
couple dollars, the margins are like, if you can get a 10, they're there
Yeah.
for sure.
So check it out. That is why I had
But
mentioned that.
you can always do that to buy more, and that's the goal, right?
Yeah. And that is why I had mentioned it in the chat about possibly sending in a few cards that I would be able to sell to get some funds to, either purchase other cards or purchase more packs with. I was thinking of Cosmos promos to begin with, actually, because I've seen just how high the 10s are returning on some of those.
I think just about most of them are probably $100, somewhere close, which is kind of wild. But they look so good. Like when you have a stack and you're just looking at them, it's eye candy for sure. I get why so many people love them.
Especially with the swirls.
Yeah.
I feel like those Cosmos Hollows have very good centering, don't they?
The little stamped.
Well, I've seen
battle
a lot of
boxes
them
or
that look
whatever.
pretty good, dude.
These are all super clean 10 worthies. Pupitar, Porygon. I mean, these aren't necessarily like the most popular, but they're all super clean.
Yeah.
This looks really good. It's got a swirl. I think.
Is that the Horsey from Stellar Crown?
Yeah. What was that?
That one's clean,
that
dude.
Luxray. This looks awesome. They're all super clean though.
And these are promos?
Or Cosmos variants. Some are promos, some are.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. This is a big one though. He's clean.
Ah, that's nice, dude.
Okay, so can we talk about? So, I don't know. Was it our first podcast where we talked about the Pikachu, or was it the second one, the Paldean one, this one?
I think it was last, or we talked about it in the Discord.
It just goes to show, like, there's sharks, for sure. Like, 250 sell through rate a couple days after I talked about it. Not saying like I'm not putting it on, like I'm not. Oh, I did that, but it's kind of crazy, huh?
Yeah.
And that's what made it jump up to 10, because previously it was a lot lower than that.
So I do remember we talked about it on the podcast, right? Because I had initially confused that promo with a different promo. And that's when Son of a Merc actually corrected me and showed me which one. Sunny D? Nice, baby. Got that energy on deck every time we stream, baby.
What were you saying though?
What I'm saying is, I remember I initially thought it was a different Pikachu promo. You corrected me, showed which one it was, and like you were saying, it was about a $10 card, right? It's going for
Keep
what,
going
30 bucks
straight,
now?
inept.
Tripled.
The Pikachu or what?
Yeah.
Um, Also investment channels. I think we need to kind of rename them because there's like the ones that watch the cards. Like there's some invest now. There's some invest now channels, right? But the ones that watch the cards are like they'll tell you when the price is already up. Like you want to kind of be before that, right? I don't know. We need to. It's like they're more market watch channels versus investment channels. Like this happened, but once it already
Yeah,
happens, you
they're
kind of missed the
letting you
boat.
know. Yeah, they're letting you know how well they predicted their plays back then.
Yeah.
So now everything's overinflated, so they're not really paying attention to much of the cheaper end stuff.
Well, I mean,
We can remedy that.
you can also
Oh,
point at any card and do that because I've got a few of those typical underrated videos where I show the cards off. I can go back a year and see how much they've gone up. I'm sure
I've got a
exponentially.
different take on it, actually. I've got a different take on it. Check it out. So, Merck actually hit on something that I was talking to somebody about recently. So you were saying with the investment channels, right? They'll report on the card after it's already gone up, but it won't be necessarily, hey, this is the next card that's going up. Everybody should go and buy it because this is where everybody's going to make their money on, right?
Yeah.
In a sense, isn't that the same thing as with stock traders and people that watch the stock market? Where after Tesla makes all this money, oh, everybody should have bought. We told you should have bought. This is where you should have placed. Look at how much it's gone up. You could have made this much if you were in at this point. And this is the graph that we show. It's just like the content. Because in reality, if
Yeah.
they truly are investors, if they give everybody the play and everybody floods the market and takes away from their play, they themselves are losing out on what they told you to get.
Well, also if it they're
You're right. It's just it's more or less how the philosophy goes. Like when you see it on TV, it's already too late.
yeah, yeah.
Because everybody knows by then. Because once it goes nationwide on TV, then you're already too late to the party.
So
Uh, so in theory, when everybody's already made videos about it, you're already too late.
Yep.
yeah.
Oof. In One Piece, the moment the first video comes out, that's it. Everything's bought out. It's crazy. Well, for playable cards, I mean.
Well, my point I was kind of getting at if people want help looking for cards and stuff, they should look at what's not being looked at, like what's actually cheap with potential popular Pokemon or just the basics, the
All right. Where,
fundamentals.
well, in the spirit of that, let's do it then.
But how do you do that without actually pumping cards? I guess I mean who the fuck cares, right? Because we're just talking about what we
Watch
want to
it in
talk
this
about.
channel that doesn't get that many views yet. This is a mini cabal right now,
Yeah,
and the only
everybody's
party
looking
member
for
at this
something.
moment is inept. So he's the only one with the insider trade info.
Yeah, inept. Let us know.
Yeah, I mean, this dude's first to market, in a sense.
Everybody's a genius in a bull market, anyways.
So let's see.
It says audio's good. I have to basically be like make love to my mic to sound
I have
decent.
to see how I'm gonna share this. I think it only lets me share
Click the
one edit
There we go.
there.
I'm about to share the stream out, guys.
Sweet.
appreciate it.
All right, cool.
Well, that's how you
Hey,
do it.
I'm live over on Merck's channel, so stop by and say hi, please. All right,
Diamond.
cool.
There we go.
All right. Can you guys see
Yeah.
my screen?
I just clicked on your stream. I'm good. Mabastiff, right?
Yep. So I selected a few going through Scarlet and Violet, a few cards that are still, in my opinion, undervalued massively. So we'll go over these, and then towards the end, I actually have some very cheap cards that are very interesting when graded in a PSA 10 or just picked up to hold for a little bit. So,
I'm liking this.
first up, we have Mabastiff. That is selling for 475 near mint condition. And this one should definitely go up, especially since Arvin is going to be featured not in this next set, but in the following one. And just the fact that trainers are coming back should prove
Yeah,
this
with
card very
Arvin.
well, I think.
Go back down to sell-through rate. It's got that
A
one
little
day.
bit up
What's that one
right there.
day?
I normally
Where the
check
sell-through?
my phone.
I think it's a little bit
Oh,
after February 1st,
Just the
right?
high,
That
the highest day for sell-through rate.
like was that a dump on the market?
Oh, it's a buy.
That's
Just
a
a
yeah,
buy. Oh, it's a
yeah,
buyout.
yeah. Well, just somebody grabbed a bunch of them to grade. Probably.
basically, but enough for it to like spike up to
They call them
$10.
buyouts, but people are just doing what they do.
It is a partial buyout,
Yeah,
and
I
then if
mean,
you
yeah.
go back down, then another partial buyout right here.
Okay.
So, next.
It's so easy to
Arvin.
manipulate TCG player, but we treat it as like standard because it's the best we got so
Arvin is,
far.
where did you check the sell-through
It's
average daily sold? Is that it?
those blue bars in the graph. You can hover over them and see how many are sold that day.
Yeah, the blue bars tell
41
you the
items
sold.
sold.
I see.
Yeah, so
Okay.
if you see that the price is like super low and the blue bars really high, that means that a bunch of them sold for a low price, right?
Yeah, there's a good
Yeah.
amount of people buying.
See, I heard you talking about this, but I didn't know you were referring to the bars.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how people try to see if it's been manipulated when they try to pick up a card.
Dorian,
Or
what
if
up?
you sell to vendors, they'll see if it's on the up and up or if it's down ticking.
Well,
Dorian, lots of
what
underrated
does this
artworks out there. A lot due to not being the chase. Yeah.
what does this tell you guys?
It's
That
getting
it's
pretty popular.
pretty balanced out, I would say, even for just a normal. Oh, also I should mention this is SIR.
And it's super playable, right? That's why the Arvin uncommon is like expensive.
What's that?
That I'm not sure.
Anticipation as well for what's coming.
Yeah, because Arvin, I think, was one of the cards you used to have to put to the side when you were like opening those packs because it had value on it. But I might be wrong.
I'm not
And
quite
also,
sure.
there's the Arvin with the Pokeball in it, but I thought that one's already like $18. I think it's already gone up too much.
That whole set, Paldean Fates.
This is another SIR. Poppy.
Dude, that card is
$3.
nice.
Yeah,
And
$3.
look at the sell-through on this card. This card used to be very playable. This was the replacement for the reset stamp back in Sword and Shield.
Yeah.
And
Very
this
playable.
might be driven by the playability of the card. That's why it
Says Dorian.
sells. And I mean, for $3, I would definitely pick that up.
What's up, Dorian?
This
How's it going,
has
buddy?
always been one of my favorites.
Dude,
It's amazing.
I made a video on
And it
this like
reminds me of the
after it
Flareon.
came out.
all
This
right.
was included.
So, what's that
That's
card
it
going
looks
at
way
right
too
now?
good to be passed up.
What's it
Currently,
going?
it's 1082.
1082?
Yeah. Let's see lowest listed, just to be more accurate.
Because I think that's a very nice card. Honestly, that, in my opinion, should be about a $20, $25 card right there.
Precisely.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It does remind me a lot of that Flareon, that promotional Flareon from the Flareon boxes. Yeah.
Very, very same
Definitely.
feel. Grusha.
Then we have Grusha.
I remember
Gama.
this was super popular when it first came out. And
Mm-hmm.
everybody learned it was a dude, then kind of just.
Yeah, everybody thought it was a chick.
Yeah.
This is not a chick.
It's
Oh
not.
no!
It's a dude.
Sorry to break your heart.
Amazing. Yeah, totally.
I mean, hey,
I like it because of the P-Dove. No, not P-Dove. Starly. but it saw a little bit of action here. It spiked up. I
Yeah.
still think at $13 is pretty cheap, considering that this card was completely blown out of proportion back when it released in Japanese.
Yeah.
I don't
Appreciate you
know.
coming in, Dorian. Appreciate
Feel
it.
like trainers, this might be the season for trainers.
All right. Have you, so you limited it to mostly SIRs and IRs when you were looking these up right now?
Not really. I just looked them up by what was, in my opinion, the cheapest without uh giving away, like
Mm-hmm.
certain Pokemon, it's a no-go. Like I'm not
All
gonna
right.
put a voter in there.
Yeah. Big
Um,
Type
motor.
in, type
so I
in
wanted.
Saguaro.
Who?
Type in
Okay, I got him
Saquaro.
right here, bro.
there he is.
This is the best card in my opinion. Like Jigglypuff is
Yes.
learning the Kamehameha slash Rasengan in this picture. Like this is how Mewtwo learned it, bro.
I
In
feel
V,
that card is criminally undervalued. That,
right?
yes,
Absolutely.
Put it next to the fruit Eevee. Look
This
good.
card used to be like $1, I think.
it was dirt cheap, dude.
And you can see it's somewhat popular. It's not very popular.
But it's
Everybody.
But
consistent. It's not experiencing any buyouts or weird spikes. This
yeah,
is natural growth.
it's not like, for example, the Penny with the Pokeball and the Umbreon in it.
Mm-hmm.
That card almost doesn't get any sales. Then there was a buyout, and even after the buyout, there's not a lot of sales for that card.
Did you look up any full art cards that you think should have been on this list? Like, is there any full art main Pokemon that are maybe going for $1, $2, or $3, where it should be $8, $10, $12 card?
I didn't, and the reason for that is because I think gold and full arts are just undervalued in general. So,
Hmm.
like some are under $1, some are maybe up
Yes.
to $3, something like that.
Yes.
So in general, I think they're undervalued, and they're all probably going to go up as scarcity affects the market more. It's just that right now people are all about the SIRs, the IRs. Once those run out, once they get too expensive, then I think people will start turning to the full arts and
Hmm.
gold cards. I think
Phase
that's the play, and then after that, then there's nothing else to look for. They're gonna start going back to older sets or deviate to other TCGs.
Yep.
And Neb
Real
says,
quick,
go ahead. Go ahead.
Hmm.
uh, Dorian said, "What's good, Eddie? Woke up due to the storm, then saw the shout out for the stream. Want to say really quickly, because I know it's late for Dorian. Uh, Thank you very much for jumping in, pal. Truly appreciate you answering the call to duty here."
Yeah,
Appreciate
we
you.
appreciate it. And Neb says,
So,
Saguaro was a dude, so nobody wants to pump it.
well, that's
Yeah,
the thing. When you don't put Jigglypuff on the card as the name of the card, then I feel like Timmy's can't find it. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
with
Like Morty's
Umbreon,
Morty's conviction.
same exact thing. I feel like we're doing a disservice to the Timmys. That's why I added Morty's conviction to
We're doing
this,
it. Yeah.
because I think they need help, like figuring out where exactly it is. We'll get there. We'll
Do
get
you
there.
do you get the logic behind um Journey Together not being like people seem to not like the just because it's a trainer set, they're not liking it as much. I've seen that. Like it's not gonna be.
See, but the problem is they don't have a choice
How do you
because they
how do you
will
look at
once it
that
comes
Lily card and not realize what that's gonna be?
as much
That's
as they're in denial, they're going to change their mind and they're going to claim that they never
or the
thought it
rest of
was
the fucking set, to be honest.
yeah. So these are the same people that said Celebrations was trash back then, and
Um,
now they're all about Celebrations.
I wonder
so
what
this is
the Delta
this is
species
what I see.
Mimikyu's doing.
I see that. I think honestly, when people start trashing a set before it's out and they start saying it's going to be bad without actually having the physical cards in hand, without having the whole deck list to see every single card that's in it, I think it's just a way to try to manipulate the market and bring it back down because they see that it's uptaking and it's going to be impossible to get all the packs they need so they could rip those cards later and create the content themselves. I
So
do
you
think it's a way to
have
mitigate
ulterior
the cost.
motives.
Yeah, I do think it's a way
Interesting.
to do that. You make everyone not interested, so it's really cheap. So you get to then be on the forefront of it and then be like, I was wrong, everybody. Look at how great this is. And it gives you another reason to create more content. You go back against your own previous content. So you're on both cycles of it, you're on both flips of that coin. And you're never wrong because you're just learning and you're evolving and you're changing.
Well,
But in reality, it's kind of bullshit.
I'd
If the
also
set's not
argue
out completely,
that
like,
The
there's
why
never
try?
change.
I'd argue there's a lot of people that don't really like the OG guys are just kind of trying to like the culture has changed. Charizard's not the guy anymore. Like
I'm a holdout.
I don't know, like you gotta this later stuff is really popular with more than what they can imagine, I guess. All these the later generations, the later trainers. I don't know.
I
I
think
think
it's
they're
all
passing overlooking it.
BS, and I think they'll forget about it the moment it releases. And I think they're gonna love this set, and they're to the moon. Everything to the moon with trainers.
I I like trainer cards, so I agree with trainer cards going up. Um, I'm not gonna argue with you there. I agree with you completely. I'm a big fan of trainer cards. I like full art cards myself as well. So full art trainer cards that are like $1, $2, or $3, in my opinion, those are cards people should jump on. You could waste $1 or $2 on a lotto scratcher and not see shit for the rest of your life. Or you could buy a $1 or $2 trainer card, keep it tucked away in a deck box for a few years, and that's your lotto scratcher. Let's see how much it went up by. Let's see if this is a $10 or $20 card now. And now it can get you dinner, somewhere nice or some shit. That's the way I see full art trainer cards. If it's expendable income that you were just like, fuck it, I got 20, $30, I don't know what to do with it, buy 10 or 15 of those fucking cards, dude. You know?
Let's read some chat.
Yeah.
Dark Sylveon's $2 all day.
Yeah,
Also,
we were talking about that one before. That's
holiday
the
advent
celebration promo.
calendar,
Yeah.
stamp promos,
And also the
Glaceon.
lens
Oh, that's a good
cores
one.
are both good plays. Even graded, I think they sell probably for $60, so that's about a $15 profit, give or
And
take.
Inept Card Collector just brought up that they've seen full art trainers with multiple trainers. Think about the Paldean friends
Mm-hmm.
and all of those. They're like, some of them are less than 50 cents, bro.
You just gotta be.
Yes,
You
they're
gotta.
super cheap, and those are definitely probably going to go up in price. But also the one with that rock star girl, she has all of her Pokemon in the card.
Eerie. Yeah, it's a beautiful
Yes,
card.
that is a great card.
I've got one back there. Yeah, those
I
both of those Eries. That's one of my new favorite trainers
I had a
or
chance to get it. I bought a
trainer
bunch of
cards.
pennies instead.
Oh man,
And the Timmies can't find the pennies, so now I'm
I like the one where
shouting.
she's in her school uniform too. You know what I mean? I'm just saying.
Hey, and then Dorian said earlier, Japan values trainer artwork higher regardless of male or female. Of course, females higher. Unlike everywhere else where they value female much higher almost exclusively. That could be a play in itself if you think about it. Because I was thinking about something. Shug stated that in Japan, stuff that's in English sells pretty well, right? And if
Yeah,
over
exclusive
there,
stuff though.
exclusive stuff, is there any exclusive English promos that have hub foos in them? If you could think about it, there was that milk carton one, right?
Cyrus.
With Cyrus. There we go. Cyrus is one of them. So what if somebody had a bunch of those that they offloaded through Japan, where they're going to be valued more because it's a male trainer versus this market over here, and it is an English thing, right?
I wouldn't.
I think right now the
You
hype
gotta
is
be.
all about the Chinese 151 cards. They would have to be extremely well. Van Gogh would do extremely well in Japan, 100%.
I'm sure it already
Premium wise,
has.
I have no clue, but it would be interesting to find out, like sales on Mercari or something. Mercari Japan, Bai, see what it sells for, and probably grade it a 10.
I need to pick up some gym boxes. The GEM gym with
Oh, gem.
the Horizons people on them.
Oh,
They're only like
those.
$50. Everybody
Yeah.
else is looking at the 151, which they can have that. I'll take the Captain Pikachu versus the chubby whatever they got 151 one.
All right, let me get through these cards real quick. We already got through the Nimona, very cheap, $6.74. Very normal sales amount. A little bit of weirdness right here. But all in all, very cheap card. And she is like the champion before, spoiler alert, you beat her in the game. So
Go down a little bit. I want to see something on this Nimona card. Right there, or just yeah, right there. I think you're good right there. So current quantity for that card, there's 216 that are listed in the market through 141 sellers. That means
That's a
if you do a median, most sellers have more than one, right?
mm-hmm.
Unless you find that one has a whole shitload and then everybody else has one or two. It's
That's
showing you how many people are trying to offload it right now.
mm-hmm.
what's it? It's kind of a weird chart, huh? Just a little bit.
That's an interesting point of view.
Yeah, it's a lot of copies.
Yeah, that's good to know. It's printed to the ground, I guess. But it is, I'm pretty sure it's Paldean Fates, which makes sense. The other one is
$1.
Pami, dollar card. Yeah.
That one's cheap as fuck,
I
dude.
remember everybody pulling this one though. This is what
And people are
everybody
buying the
get this one.
crap
Look
out of
how
this
many.
card.
There's 1,200 on for listing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that means everyone's trying to sell multiples. Or again, there's one person that's selling a shitload and everyone else is just, I got one or two. But like, yeah, even if you divide fucking
But these
1289 by 468,
But this is also the point, right? Because nobody's necessarily looking to get these, right?
or there's so many of them.
The idea is to get them now.
Yeah.
Supply dries out, or somebody
Yeah.
pumps them to a higher price, like they literally did right here.
Yeah.
And the vicious cycle continues.
I just feel
Let's
like
think
a
about it.
dollar's a dollar
Well,
is
Let's do math.
crazy for that.
Wait, let's do math.
Sleepy Pokemon do very well.
Go down slightly,
Mm-hmm.
just slightly, or a little bit up. All right, so market price is $125, right? Plug in 125 times 1289 to see how much it would cost to buy out the entire market.
We'll just do 1 times 1,200.
You know that as you go down the list, the prices get higher, right?
I know that. I know,
Yeah.
but it gets to the point where there's no point in buying them anymore, and all there is the expensive ass ones, right?
It would be $1,500.
So with $1,500, someone can go right now, tonight, disrupt the market with this card. With this single card alone, they could buy everything out, or it's again just an example. Buy
Would
out
you
all
want
the
to though?
Yeah, but look
this
at this.
becomes a
I feel like
$50 card,
I
and
feel
they
like
have
people spite Paul me because he's not Pikachu.
You would essentially have to buy all of it, and the most expensive. Jesus Christ, are you kidding me?
What?
Oh,
No,
52.
You lost your
it's
place.
still super cheap. No, there we go. 25, 22. So you'd have to go all the way up to 25. So you essentially.
Are people just waiting?
Yeah.
Cap would be 25.
What
Because if you buy everything out, you're only gonna spike this card up to $25.
You're gonna be waiting years to get. So they're anticipating somebody to.
All right.
To
Slightly
spike
up. I want
this
to
up
see
a little bit.
where it changes
Like
from
somebody
like 20.
somebody look at this, buy this. Let's move this up a little bit.
I'm surprised there's not more copies right here, like 100 at $25.
$25 for
all right, there.
kiss my ass.
So 1650. All right, so went from 10 to like almost 20 with just a few sellers, right?
Yeah.
You would, in theory, only have to go all the way to the $10 mark, and then they're all worth that. But you
Okay.
have all the ones that you picked up for $1 that are now worth 25.
If you go to page like 49, you could probably find them for, yeah, see,
Do we think this is gonna
all the way down.
this art
So
rare, illustration rare bubble is it gonna hold? Like, there's
All
so
right.
many of these cards, and they're selling at such a high price. Is it truly such
yes,
bad
because everyone
quality?
That's the thing. I think this card's beautiful. I
Well,
think
not
this card right
necessarily
here
this one, but like,
should be over $5. I think it should be over $5, hands down.
I
I
think
think that card is worth the cost of a pack at MSRP.
I think it's at least 7.
I think it's
7.
right
It
now it should be
reminds me
3.
of
I'd pay
Mew.
3 for that.
It
I'd pay
You pay
reminds me
three
of
3,
dollars.
Mew, but it's not Mew. You know?
and it's at $1. So we all agree that card is undervalued. So right
I
now,
Not
it
$25
ties in.
undervalued though.
Huh?
Not $25 worth though.
Oh no, well, yeah, not 25. We do agree on that. But what I'm saying is, this ties into your question. You just asked about the bubble and all that, right? If it's truly a bubble would encompass everything in the sphere, everything, everything, everything. We all just found one card that all three of us agree has not been a part of the bubble.
Well, I say
That bubble's
bubble,
still
but
expanding.
is everybody just looking for
give this
something
so
because
cheap.
everything else is like,
That's what it
This
are
seems
we
like.
trying to justify
this
this to
card,
ourselves? Because
well,
this
this
shit
is
didn't
a
fly with
premium.
Sword and Shield, right? Like it didn't. There was the Flareon, Vaporeon, Jolteon were cheap for till just now. Like brilliant, the trainer galleries, brilliant stars, or just
They were expensive for a little
anything.
bit. I remember
Rayquaza
the
from
three
Silver Tempest,
boxes. No, the three boxes, the Vaporeon box, the Flareon box, the Jolteon box that came out Sword and Shield era.
not the
They went up
boxes,
for
the set cards. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah. What I was gonna say was I remember that box went up in value for a bit. There was a bunch of the bigger creators that did content with it, and then Pokemon Center dropped more of them, and they went down. But when those boxes were extremely high, especially like around the time of the whole COVID thing, when the lockdowns and everything happened, everything spiked, right? So I mean I like that was a bubble. Everything spiked, and it was everything across the board. It didn't really seem like anything was cheap during that bubble, right? Or do you feel any sets didn't spike during that particular one?
Pokemon
During
Go. I mean,
Pokemon Go spiked.
there's plenty of stuff that wasn't affected. It's just everything ultra modern was directly affected. So anything older than that, like XY, I've been buying XY for the longest time that I can tell you that prices didn't start going up for megas realistically
The
until
Megas.
a hype. This boom is what caused prices to go up. All of a sudden, I'm looking at megas and they're all like double in price. I'm looking up GX cards, they're all double in price. I'm like, what is going on?
there was
I
a
just sold a whole bunch of these for much cheaper than this. What is going on?
there was a little push there for a while um, when the game was first announced. There was
That
like
was
I
me,
think
bro.
everybody just bought
I
too
was the
early.
only
They
one
timed
buying
stuff too early.
those. No, bro, I didn't see any pump. Well, I
Back when
do see. There was a little tiny one, wasn't there? And it
Nomics
didn't
was
last.
Yeah.
yeah,
I
Yeah,
remember
they.
Pokemon Go
Nomics
did
said he
good
was gonna
for a
go
little
all
bit.
in on megas and stuff. Because at that time everybody thought we were getting a mega set, and the game was announced, and new megas with Legend ZA and stuff like that. So there was a little bit of a climb.
Yeah, I just kept collecting up until now because now they're just. There's some that are fine and reasonable. It's just I'm focused on other stuff now. I'm actually like doing ultra modern,
Yeah,
like all this Scarlet Violet stuff that's crazy inflated.
I
Plus One
just
Piece.
what's the compared to trainer galleries and illustration rares, are the illustration rares, is the subset that much bigger than what a trainer gallery set would be?
I think they're
Like,
similar, honestly.
is it harder to pull illustration rares versus trainer gallery?
I think there's less in Scarlet and Violet.
Less than
I think
amount
they're
of
harder
trainer
to
gallery cards in a
pull.
set.
Yeah,
Well,
and I think they're harder to pull than the trainer galleries. I think the trainer galleries was the buffer that made Sword and Shield better. Because in the beginning, it was really bad because all you got were reverses. Afterwards, the trainer galleries took the spot of the reverse,
I see
and
you
that
guys in the
started
chat.
balancing the playing field.
Um,
But I,
I was telling him I see him in the chat. We're gonna get to him. Dorian, time to pump and dump my favorite low valued cards. Just kidding. That requires efforts. FOMO, and then the mask the Sword and Shield reprint dump. Pokemon Legends EA isn't helping with the mega hype.
mm-hmm.
And Inept says, "Oh hey, I'm on the fence about a card. Thoughts on the Armor Rouge from Scarlet and Violet base set? $15. I think that's the one similar to the Slowpoke.
Where is
We're
it?
just looking around the corner.
Actually,
Armor Rouge 203.
I feel like Armor Rouge. Uh, if Cerulege goes up, then Armor Rouge is gonna go up too. I think between Cerulege and Armor Rouge is the least popular.
Yeah,
But at I checked it at $14 or $15, what it is. I think that's still a decent card. I think it's in a normal market like a $20 card.
just wait
I
till
just think it's super undervalued.
Roy gets an Armor Rouge on Horizons, and then he has to fight the Cerulege, and then it's gonna fucking pop off real quick.
Yeah, I used
Hopefully
Armor
something like
Rouge.
that happens.
His defense though was just so bad. I'm thinking Cerulege is better, but I got the other game. I got the Scarlet. So I'd have to get Violet if I want Cerulege.
Yeah,
Then,
So check this out.
Elephant. I would actually,
I love
out of
this
all of
card.
these cards, I would buy like 10 of each of these because they're just so cheap. I
It's
mean,
it's Batman
it's not
Beyond
gonna.
all the way,
I got one copy.
and he's an
Yeah.
actual superhero in the anime.
Yeah, this is Aquaman with Pokemon. And see, look, the
It's a
goofy character just reminds me of Aquaman 3. It just reminds
you
me of
don't
the
get
whole movie.
Batman Beyond vibes.
I do because the red and the chest
It's very
and the
cool.
black. Yeah.
I get kind of mantra vibes from this dude.
It's cool though.
So Dorian had a point that he just brought up. He said trainer gallery, if I remember correctly, were just IRs that were similar in nature and made easier to pull than the other IRs. Don't quote me, but he said because they were still ARs in Japanese print.
Yeah, I was just wondering like the size comparison of the subset. Like, are we getting more illustration rares in these sets versus what we did with Sword and
Oh,
Shield?
so
I
in
don't
Sword and
think
Shield,
so.
if we
Not sure.
had alternate arts compared to how many, or not alternate arts, trainer gallery, like the size of their
Mm-hmm.
sets compared to the IR size.
Yeah, I'm not smart enough to. My Poke knowledge isn't what it should be.
Well, shit.
Depends on the set too.
Yeah,
Uh,
because some sets are big, dude. Some sets are small.
I know Paldea is massive and it's hard to pull what you want.
Yeah. I think Danny Phantom touched on that. He was saying how like if it's a really big set, since it's more cards that you need to pull out of a specific rarity, it's actually harder to pull those cards because the pool of different cards that you can get is actually much more vast. So
Yeah,
you might be going for a card number 2, but you keep getting 3, then 4, then 5, then 6, and it just keeps going so on and so on.
50 cents for a Wug Trio.
if you're
The
targeting a certain card,
disrespect.
if you're targeting a certain card, you might end up getting all the other ones except for that one freaking card.
Yeah.
I don't know why that tends to happen to so many YouTubers.
Yep. And
That's
that's where it becomes a batching issue. If you keep getting packs from the same area, it might be batching from the packs that were bought from the distributor for that specific market. So you start buying packs from different areas and shit and just
You
shipping
think that's
stuff
real?
over.
You think Cali gets
I
better
do.
than East Coast? I've heard that a few
I I
times.
I do believe it's different. I honestly do. I feel like every now and then you see that like in
Like
action.
y'all's hits are better than East Side.
Well,
Well,
Texas has good hits.
I wouldn't even
Whenever
say that.
Pokemon,
I
huh?
wouldn't even say that one is better hits than the other, to tell you the
Skill
truth.
issue, always.
I feel like I see the batching though. Like you tend to see a bunch of people getting the same type of hits, or if they open a lot of product, you get similar
Mm-hmm.
hits for the big hits. Me for myself, I opened up two of the ETBs from the Pokemon Center for prismatic evolutions. The Both of them had the same trainer full art card. That was the big hit out of both of those ETBs, like the same exact card,
Yeah, but
and both of them
Prismatic's
were from the same
busted.
sealed case. Yeah.
I think they fucked something up somehow, some way.
They did. Rev had batching issues.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then everybody thought that there was no hits in this set. Then they probably fixed it, whatever the hell it was.
Well, no, no, no. If there's batching issues, do you know how long it would take to fix it in the market though? They've already sold everything. Everything's been taken by the distributor. It's in their warehouse. They would have to get rid of all that,
Oh, they don't give a
buy a
shit.
whole new set, send it through transportation before they get it. It would take a lot longer to clear that up.
They're
It
just
would be
gonna
like a month and a half to 3 months, dude.
they'll fix it with the
After,
reprint, possibly. Like we saw with
Hmm.
Crown Zenith,
there was
was a
batching
couple.
issues.
There was a
Well,
couple
if
ways
there
where
was
you couldn't
batching,
as many hits.
if there was
Yeah.
batching issues, it didn't affect every single batch. People got normal hits. The only one
Yeah,
who really was affected were those overly speculating in the beginning. And also that one guy who opened Prismatic Evolution early and got like three gold cards, if I'm not mistaken. And then he didn't pull a single.
No SIR.
Yeah, or I think he pulled an EV. Point is, he opened a whole bunch of boxes and pulled three gold cards and like one EV SIR. So that's where the whole speculation started. As you said, people are like, at that
looking
time,
for
hype is
anything.
through the roof, and they need they need to know everything is going to be okay, and there's nobody to tell them that. And then when Prismatic comes in, they see batching issues. There's like, oh my God, we're doomed. You know, a very bipolar situation, and that's why this market is so freaking crazy.
Base, how do you want to navigate this? How do you want to navigate Pokemon? What are your Do you have any goals?
Well, honestly, the goals are whenever I start opening a set, I like to master it. If I don't think I'm gonna open a bunch of a set, I don't like to really open it or like get too like hyped up about it. I want to master all of the sets from Sword and Shield that I'm still working on. It gets harder, obviously, with time. It's harder to get packs. Gets more expensive.
And that
Um,
leads me to: Are you trying to are you trying to collect for free? I guess in a way, like sell some, buy some. Like, are you
um,
any
well,
active attempts to like grade
like I
something or sell
honestly,
something to get
yeah, like
something
I
else?
honestly. So that's the thing. Like, I keep saying I'm gonna like sort all my open stuff, and like I thought I only had two totes, but I have four totes worth of shit that I have to go through and sort. So I know there's a ton of shit in there that I can just get rid of. Like I know there's a bunch of shit that's extra. They're just extra hits. They're not needed for master sets. I've been thinking about going through all of that once it's all sorted and testing my hand out with the whole grading thing. I think that out of all that, if I can just get what I think is gradable and have like a big submission that I could work on or a big stack of cards that I could be like, okay, we'll grade 10 of them, receive them back, either auction off a few if they're like auctionable or just sell them. I could use that and reinvest it back into the channel, reinvest it back into the hobby in the sense that I can start to get some of the older packs that are going to be worth a little more money, or I can just buy the cards outright. With some of these sets, I think it's better to buy the cards outright, but specific cards, I think it's still better to just chase. Like I need the Moon Bunny and the Rayquaza from Evolving Skies.
Ooh,
If
yeah.
I buy both outright, I'd rather just chase the motherfuckers with a bunch of packs. Like
I'd
the
give up.
cost. You get me?
So, not having done that yet, is it intimidating to you to get
It's
started?
intimidating. It's intimidating when you get left with nothing but the big bangers that are left, and that's all you're chasing. And I have a couple sets where I'm just chasing like big cards.
Well, I mean,
So
for
at that point, it does.
as far as selling goes or grading,
Um,
anything in that realm.
in grading, what's intimidating about it? Honestly, like I've only graded one card in my entire
Yeah,
life, man, and that's the one that came back that 10, the Chansey from base set. Um, like I think the most intimidating part of it, and it's kind of mitigated depending on how you grade it, is ensuring that the card gets there safely. You
yeah,
get me? Like my whole thing about it before grading that Chansey, I was told, why don't you ship it? Why don't you just submit it online, right? I wanted to make sure it was in person because I wanted to drop it off with the person right then and there, take my pictures right beforehand, and be like, it's in perfect condition. It didn't get fucked up. It didn't get fucked up in the mail on the way to you and whatnot. You get me?
yeah.
And that worked out well. The second batch of cards that I sent to get graded were through Cardboard Robot, the Power Ranger cards. But
And
he
they got
himself inspects the cards before sending them out. And he has like a live stream where he's like inspecting your card and making sure it looks nice and clean. You get me? So it was another person to put eyes on it and ensure it's worthy of sending out before it's actually sent out. But I haven't myself like, all right, I prepped these fucking cards. I checked everything. I'm just gonna mail them in. So that little part where like I feel like I could look at the cards and I feel like I could get them ready, but actually creating the package and just mailing them in, that's the part that I think is intimidating because that's where I'm like, it's out of my hands, it's out of my control, it's in somebody else's hands.
yeah,
And I gotta trust that somebody and hope that they're treating my package with utmost care because it has these cards that I want to come back with a 10. So they'll be like sellable. You get me?
yeah.
That's
You
that's
just,
that's the part that I'm like, fuck, like
I think you just
but
gotta
I
get.
live close enough to PSA where I can just walk them in.
That's true. I think you
Yeah,
just gotta
so
get
that's
over
why.
the initial hurdle, possibly. But it's
Well,
also
what I hear
gets
is you care
expensive.
about the cards. You
Yeah,
care about the cards, you care about the process, you want them to get there safely, and you want them to receive the proper grade that they're supposed to be given, according
Yeah,
to the way that you put it in the box. Um, they're not perfect by any means of the word, but they've never done any weird stuff to my cards or anything like that. And when they do weird stuff, they always take responsibility, but it's your responsibility to make sure you declare the right value amount when you
yeah,
submit your cards because that's your insurance, that's your cash, your refund essentially. Um, I go by the philosophy that if you want to do it right, you have to do it yourself, but only in that which you can control. PSA, I can't control them. I can't control the employees. I can control like the order of my cards to make it seem like certain cards are more centered than they are.
hmm,
But ultimately, it's up to the grader to decide. I just have to be okay with that as a business person because they might mess up, but I know that their policy will give me my refund. At that point, it sounds very business oriented, but it's not about the cards. Because
hmm,
as long as I get my money back, I always put an upcharge of $2, so at least I'm making a profit of $2 per card. Um, uh, that's the way I see it. There's no emotional attachment to the card, if that makes sense. Because I can go and buy the same card, probably not the same centering, probably not the same quality, but at least I got my capital back.
I get you.
It's just a completely different mindset. Um, That's why I like having certain cards put away because that's more for collection purposes. And
Yep.
typically, those are the ones that are the best centered and the mintiest. And then PSA gets my nastier looking cards. And
Which
those
is
are
that's
typically
crazy to
easier
me.
to sell. And also, by doing that, I set myself up for success because I know that what I'm selling, I'm not gonna have any ill will selling it because I know that there was damage on the card. I've seen all of the cards. I know what damage is on every single nook and cranny on my cards, and still they get tens, but it is what it is. You just sell them as in whatever grade you get them in. I've seen
Yeah.
cards that deserve PSA 8s and they got 10s, and I was just thinking to myself, thank God I don't have to personally sell these. That it was ZNG because I was using his service at the time. I was thinking I could not morally sell these with a straight face and not expect them to want a refund.
Yeah.
I was
It's
gonna say that.
it's kind of crappy, dude,
Yeah.
because
That
you're like
sounds.
you're trying to sell something as effectively as possible, but if you don't even trust the grade, how can you morally, well, morally, technically, I'm okay with it. It's just,
You
it's
did
not.
sell them still, right?
I sold it through ZNG.
Yeah. So
Mm.
I mean, you still did sell it at
Bro,
that point.
regardless of my morals, that card would have sold through ZNG because there was no
But it's a
say so.
10. It's a 10.
So see what
Yeah.
I mean? You have to know what you're in control in and what you're not in control in, and that you're not in control of it, you have to be okay with that.
Yeah. But
And
I
it is
totally
See,
get
I
your
wouldn't even.
point.
Why did? What was the thought process of sending damaged cards? Like, or they damaged them?
the thought. No, 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 no,
No.
no. No. PSA has never
Okay.
damaged any of my cards, fortunately. The point of sending damaged cards is that they look damaged under an LED light. They don't look
Mm,
damaged under normal light. Uh, so they have a chance at a 10, but only if the grader isn't paying attention. And the idea is to send all the crappy cards together because the more these are humans.
yeah.
You know, they know exactly what they're doing. They know that when they give you a 9, they're screwing you. They know that if they give you anything under, they're massively screwing you. So I'm thinking to myself, throw me some 7s, throw me some 8s, but turn some of my 9s into 10s out of pity. I
Yeah.
don't care. I'll take that.
I gotta.
Just for the record, I don't grade 7s and 8s. Typically, they're 9s or 10s. On occasion, I do get some 8s. And I regrade those 8s because I don't believe they're 8s.
Right.
Uh,
I mean, and if you never graded or sold anything, the initial startup can be kind of intimidating as well if you want to kind of really get
but
going.
the beauty of it now is that you have consignment services that offer buy it now at 16%. You don't have to even
16.
do anything.
Oh,
Yeah.
after the sale, 16. Okay.
After the sale, 16% shipping not included. Anything under $100 is $5 shipping. So it's the exact same model as Z&G Emporium. The one who's doing that right now is Pokemon Wonder.
Okay.
But also, I was mentioning this to a friend of mine who is actually similar to Bay's situation. He rips packs, um, grades the cards, and that kind of funds his hobby. But that's what he likes to do. His enjoyment comes from ripping the packs. It doesn't come from
Yep.
buying the cards
Yep.
that are well centered and grading them. He
Mm-hmm.
That's what I
enjoys
like.
the experience of ripping the packs, and that's totally fine. And it's
Yeah.
totally uh, your prerogative, right? It's just
Yeah.
that we can find easier ways of
Helping
you, yeah,
to
helping,
recoup that money and put it back into ripping more shit. But it's hard.
letting
The
hobby
initial
work for
startup is the hardest part. It's like getting started,
Yeah.
getting past
that
that.
was
If I do
that was
well enough on my return, I'm gonna try to send you a little something so I can get you going.
so the other thing I was gonna say, PSA now offers buy it now post grading, and they also offer vault services so you can vault your cards, and they offer auction services.
All right.
So literally after you grade your cards, you can list them up either buy it now or auction, whichever you prefer, and their fees are exactly the same as ZNG, exactly the same as Pokemon Wonder.
I would want to sell it myself or sell it all at once, kind of thing, versus consigning. You know what I mean?
Well,
What if you're a
check
new
it out.
seller?
Check it out though. That consignment
Yeah.
service you said that it's $16 if it's $100 or
16%. Yeah.
less.
Yeah.
16%,
Yeah.
$5 shipping. That's $21 total. If you sell a card that's $100 exactly, you make 79. That's
Exactly.
still better than what you have to pay in taxes in some states.
Hmm.
In some states, you have to pay like
Good
30%
point.
tax.
I'm at 10%, well, 8% in Texas.
But at the
Yeah.
same time, why do you want to take so less when everything's going
Well, what I'm saying is
not so?
you're
I don't
losing
mean so less, but
31% versus 30% that you would have to pay regardless on the taxes for
records
the
are
state
getting
of
broken every
California.
day with these
Huh?
card
Well,
prices.
you know that on Instagram, any transaction you make, non-inclusive to TCG Player and eBay, meaning like any deals you make on Instagram, on Discord, blah blah blah, the buyer is automatically gonna assume that the 15% is discounted.
Yeah,
Always. Like
Yeah.
this is the standard when it comes to these private
yeah,
sales and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So really, I mean, you're
That's true. That's true. So you're
not a
doing, yeah.
huge difference. And what you're probably hooking the guy up with is shipping, which is like $5. And depending on how much you sell, it's not that much of a deal breaker. That's why a while ago during the bear market, I realized that there were these Luffy cards where he was in Gear 5 mode. They're like 50 cents right now, and they sell for $60. So that's the play I've been doing this whole time. Because I figured those margins are small, but if I grade 20 of
Yeah.
them, it multiplies it by a lot. And
Guys,
people are super into that Luffy card.
I also know we get into a lot about money, guys, but we also love everything about this hobby. So it's
well,
we're trying to figure
and to
out
be fair,
the best we can because shit's expensive. So
yeah,
we sell stuff to buy more stuff or sell stuff to put stuff away. If it
Yeah,
helps us, it
so
helps us. Why not capitalize on what you're involved in?
so what I was telling my friend yesterday was since you seem to he told me that he's slowly diverting his money from Pokemon to One Piece because One Piece is much cheaper. First, I think that's a great idea because One Piece is so cheap and underinflated compared to Pokemon, it's ridiculous. The standard of sealed investing still applies exactly as in Pokemon as it does to One Piece, so it's a safe investment until a floodgate opens. So you have to be aware of that. But um, ultimately, what I told him was if you just here's where the problem lied because he wants to keep ripping packs and he's not really interested in buying singles off the internet. So what I was telling him was why don't you collect all of your IRs, even the cheap stuff. I can take a look at that, the SIRs, the full arts, go through that, go through the centering because PSA just changed their standards and I'm not 100% sure how that's going to go until I send my submission and get a good feel of what their new standards are. I would send anything that has just very, very good centering,
Yeah.
like
all
flawless
right,
center. And that's how you start
Always.
off. Really, it doesn't matter what card. Just don't send like a 5 cent hollow, basically. Because right now we're in an inflated market. Everything's selling and people are buying stuff just for the sake of buying stuff. So I would say anything a dollar. I mean, there was a Diglett in here for like 50 cents. I think that's a good pickup, especially because once they go up to, I'm not a huge Diglett fan, but let's say they go up to $5, that's already a decent margin. And if you can find a well-centered copy in a 10, it should sell for 50 to $60 probably,
Yeah.
depending on how much it's pumped.
all right. But this is my question here.
Yeah.
All right, so we're all again. I do want to put a disclaimer. I don't sell shit. I don't know shit. I'm just some dumbass on the internet. I'm some dude that likes to take blinkies and open packs. That's it.
You are a friend that
It's
likes to
just my
collect
stupid
and
opinion.
learn.
You get me? But check it out. Check it out. So this whole time right now, that we were saying, for like newcomers, or how you could like fund your hobby, and we're bringing up this whole fact that you can go through your excess cards, whatever looks good, you could send it in for grading, and use that as a vehicle to help fund it, right? This is my question though. If I were to, let's say, just dip my toes into it and I want to grade 5 cards because they're doing pretty well, I have extra copies, it looks like they're gradable, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I wanted to start that process tomorrow, how long until I get my cards back and then I could actually sell them?
A
Like, what's
PSA,
that time frame?
If you send them to GameStop, 45 days. If you
month
send
and a
them
45
to
days?
GameStop
half.
tomorrow and you get the GameStop membership, 45 days, but this is not including how much you're going to have to pay because it's $17.99 per card, plus you would have to get the GameStop membership.
All right,
So
I already have the
But you can
membership.
only you can
The
send one
membership's
card
20
if you
bucks a year.
want at
okay,
GameStop.
that's not bad.
Or well, you can do that with PSA as well, but they'll be like 20, $25 just to send one card. So if you trust GameStop enough, I have a disclaimer. Did you have something to say?
Just remember to declare the right amount plus $2 because of your time.
Yeah.
I would say $5 because of your time, but they're going to charge you more in insurance fees.
All right. But so we were saying roughly 45 days then, if I were to do it through GameStop. Because there's GameStop everywhere. I could literally grab a card out of my binder, go to GameStop tomorrow, send it in to get grading.
I would
Um,
practice
all
with
right.
like a cheaper card first, like just
Yeah.
trust
Oh,
issues.
But get
depends.
me. I'm getting somewhere with this thought
For me, it's
experiment.
trust issues.
Regardless of the card I send, regardless of the value of the card, regardless of it's $1 card that I'm gonna sell for $100 because in the 10 it's worth 100, so that's gonna help me the most. The time frame is what I'm getting at. I have to wait 45 days to get that card back before I sell it, and I have to hope to God that in 45 days that market continues upticking with that card and it doesn't crash, right?
I have a Yeah, that's true. But
That's the risk you're
Yeah.
taking also.
the way
And
it's
you're
been
tying in
lately,
your capital with it, so you can't open
well,
packs and shit at the
if you're
same
buying
time.
that original card at
Don't agree necessarily.
if you're buying a card cheap enough and your margins are there, it doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily matter that much.
But here you're not buying the card. It's someone who like opens packs. So you bought packs and that's the card you pulled.
Yeah.
And that's the card you have to send to get graded.
Oh, Jesus. Why didn't I say this
Well,
from the get-go?
if popularity goes down, it still has you can probably still sell it and it probably has a new floor. It's still going to be exponentially more in a 10 versus what it was when it was raw. So
No, I
the
I
get
have a
that.
solution
if
to
it
all of
goes
this.
down, it matters, but it doesn't matter at the same time,
I have a
because you
solution to all your problems. It's called Grade One Piece. They have free PSA 10s, and that's not financial advice. I just have graded so much One Piece. I've only gotten a PSA 9 out of like 100 cards.
that's
I've heard
crazy.
a lot of people say that One Piece grades well, yeah. I just
So,
I don't know shit about it. So I
Same
don't
here.
open it. I don't deal with it. Like I'm gonna feel like a complete and fucking like liar. Just, oh, look at this shit. We got what I needed. Like I don't know shit about it. I don't know what I'm gonna be excited for, what I'm not gonna be excited for. I don't know if it's gonna be a good card, a bad card. I'd have to do so much research to get into that TCG.
what about Lorcana?
I
You
do
know,
open Lorcana. I like Lorcana. I like
and
Lorcana.
that's universal, everybody knows
Yeah.
Lorcana. And I feel
Mm-hmm.
like more people would impulse buy Lorcana because think about it. Your daughter, your cousin, your best friends, whatever, is having a birthday, having a quinceañera, having
Yeah.
a Christmas party,
Quinceañera.
whatever. The most convenient gift to get them, if you're aware of the whole grading market, is probably going to be one of these cards. And they're more likely to not care about how much it costs because it's Disney. People are
Yeah,
willing to pay more for that
I agree. I agree
emotional,
with you on that.
emotional thought. The
Marvel's
only
on
thing
the
is that
way, right? With Disney.
Yes.
Lorcana is not hyped, so it's perfect right now because you want to get into these markets before they go all the way up in price, like
Before the
Pokemon
Marvel
has.
comes, it
Yeah.
gets people a little
I've
cream in their
opened up
panties.
Lorcana on my channel. I just don't get it way too often.
Yeah,
Like,
It's
but
kind
I've
of
opened it.
hard to get. It is pretty
hard to get
popular.
and kind of
uh,
expensive as well.
That's yeah, it's more expensive than Pokemon.
I have a disclaimer.
Amazing. And it's only like 2 years old.
A couple episodes, maybe the first episode, we were talking about tag, and I said I had no intentions on grading with them. At that time, I
Oh,
didn't,
he already did.
but I sent 3 cards in because I just want to
It's
see.
like, guys,
I can't
I
judge them
graded.
without sending myself, right? And apparently, it's a 10-day turnaround, and there's been a little tag pump lately. So only 3 cards. I sent the 2 prismatic stamped and the Rayquaza from Sea and Skybox. So we'll see what happens. I want to see the process. I gotta know.
Oh, they're going to send you all the analytics. I love their analytics.
If I'm gonna judge
I
them,
gotta
I gotta know. I sent some pretty freaking clean cards, so we'll see what
And they show
happens.
you all the stuff they find. They find stuff that I can't even see. And it's surprising because I see a lot.
I should have
Just
also sent like a.
like,
I should have did what Java did and sent something obvious just to see if they catch it. I should have.
you could always do that
But it,
just on the off
I don't want to
chance
waste
that they
money,
do,
man.
you get a free tag 10, you know? It's not a waste of money. See, that's
I mean,
that's
it's
one
yeah.
issue I have because a lot of people say like, hey, like grading a 9, hey, that's a loss of money. You know, right now in this market we're in, I think by the time your cards get graded, even if they get a 9, there's gonna be a pump.
Well, I wouldn't say
And the
a 9 is a waste of money. I would say like sending a purposely like bent or messed up card just to
I
for
do
an
it all
experiment.
the time. I do it. I fix them and then I send them. It's just it's how the game's played, you know.
You're
They
better
don't
at the game.
notice a lot of these things. Um, like yeah, but of course I make mistakes too.
Yeah.
Uh,
That 1 9 out of 100
well,
tens.
the one card they sent back because they said it was altered. Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
remember you saying that.
didn't personally alter it, but I did clean it up a little bit. So it still had kind of like some marks from the stuff I used to clean.
The nose grease cracks me up. That still
Exactly.
cracks me up.
Nose grease. I'm gonna brand that.
Yeah, you
It's not
should.
gonna be real nose grease, but it's gonna be called nose grease.
I
Uh,
gotta give a shout out to Dorian
Go ahead,
in the chat.
read the chat for us. Yeah.
Yeah. He says One Piece grades well, cheaper to get into, and has some insane cards that are high value, higher
Absolutely.
than initially you'll ever see with Pokemon for modern. He said, Eddie, look at the OP manga cards and it'll blow your mind. First off, I know they're crazy expensive. I have seen, because I've seen in videos, there's a lot of content creators that do open that stuff. Like Broly has opened it, Pokestock has opened it. I know James and Elena, he collects One Piece. So I do get that. I get that there are insanely like expensive cards, but I would feel like I'm just opening that set only because I'm gambling and it's me like at the casino or me with a lotto scratcher. Like, did this box get me in a manga card just because we're gonna like sell it?
Mm,
And I wouldn't know anything about the set. Like, I don't know all the characters, and I'm not gonna know like I'm just not gonna know way too much about it. Like I know who Boa Hancock is. That's the lady with the big titties, you know.
Yeah.
I know who Luffy is. He's the guy with the straw hat. I have seen the show on Netflix, the first season, and I did watch the manga way back when it first started, but I dropped out of it and I never got back into it. So it's just something that I'm like, I would rather open Dragon Ball over One
Oh
Piece if
yeah.
I did have to open a new TCG. And I know that Dragon Ball has had some cards that are expensive as hell too, but I haven't even looked into the Dragon Ball TCGs to tell you the truth.
I think it's kind of dead lately. A little bit.
what?
Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball?
Dragon
They just
Ball.
came out with a new set, right?
They revamped their Fusion
Yeah.
World set, and so all the cards inside were kind of redone, and it's kind of weird because it's kind of like they started the TCG all over again, meta-wise.
Um,
So it kind of messed everything up, and people were upset about that.
How is one?
One thing though, that might change your mind. Just keep this in the back of your head. One Piece, the chance of you actually making your money back on opening a box is fairly high because
um,
Their hit ratio is pretty good, and their
All
cards,
right,
especially in OPO9, are very playable. I
all
mean
right.
that those go up pretty nicely.
Since you do know about One Piece, right? Like you yourself have
I
dipped your toes
stayed,
into it.
yeah,
All right,
I'm
It's knee deep.
big into the TCG, big into the anime. I don't know much about playability, but I know what cards are playable.
let's run some numbers really quick. I want to do this with someone that knows it, just to get my head wrapped around it.
Okay,
Especially because you're on TCG player, so this is gonna work perfectly. What's the
perfect.
newest set that came out for One Piece?
OPO9,
All right,
Emperor's.
let's look at that.
This is the one I have a case of.
All right, and
I
I'm
have.
gonna go somewhere with this, but we're going on my stoner rants, okay? Stoner rants. We're going down the rabbit hole. Uh, Scroll
Holy
up and
shit.
go most expensive from most expensive to cheapest for filter.
I have to fix it. I only put emperors, so I need to like actually filter
Oh,
it out
okay,
the actual set. Yeah, what you guys just saw was like a mesh of a whole bunch of cards from different sets.
okay.
This
So
is
this
the
is
most expensive card, a
all
gold
right,
rare.
and that's a pullable card. Like it's not a weird promo or you had to go through some other hoops and
Oh,
whatever for it. And that's the booster case, 1500.
this is the case. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's what you said you have. You have one case.
Yeah, for just
Okay,
for the record, 12 boxes in a case for One Piece.
all right. 12 boxes, one case, 1500. Big card is worth over two cases, right? Easily, just a little bit over two cases. How many cases do I need to open to guarantee that card?
See,
Ooh.
that's a great question. I've heard, okay, so for these mangas, I've heard that it's 2 to 3 cases. I think for the
All
gold
right,
card, it's
How
every
many
one and a half cases.
how many
20 cases.
I think it's 10 cases.
All right, 10
Maybe,
cases.
it might
That's
be
a
20.
gold manga, right?
Yeah, but look at your super rares too. You got a chance of pulling those as well.
But those are only 900, so they're less than the case, and you need a few cases to pull those.
Yeah, but send them to PSA and you're
You
looking
need a
pretty
few
good.
cases to pull those,
Yeah,
correct.
but what I'm saying is, me pulling it, I'm not guaranteeing they're 10s. So if I'm pulling, I'm trying to see what's the guaranteed pull
I can
rate, how
guarantee
many I'm
you,
gonna, huh?
I can guarantee you, you pull any of these cards, they're gonna PSA 10 if you pull them out of a pack.
That
It
Bandai.
What's
needs
their population report? Let's look up population report for Monkey D. Luffy 119.
the problem is you're not gonna find a lot of this because it's very, very new. Also, these prices are not very accurate because this thing was printed, then reprinted back to back, and then I think they just made the tens. So prices for all of these cards have like finally floored. And now is finally the time when they're starting to go up.
How are they doing
But
One Piece? Are they going from
but if I
arc to
were to
arc?
get into One Piece right now, I'd have to buy cases at that price,
They're going
pull
back and forth
cards.
between
Huh?
arcs. Huh?
If I were to get into One Piece right now, I'd have to buy cases at that price to pull cards that are this price. And what I'm saying is, let's look at the current population report for these cards because I want to see how many are getting tens versus ones, twos, threes, four, and so on and so forth to see the percentage of
Let me
what
see.
are the odds of you getting a 10 on that card.
I wish there was an easier way than looking it up on PSA. They are such a mess. Whoops.
But you get where I'm going with all this? Like, because for someone like me, again, I like to rip packs. The whole point is I'm buying this to rip the packs. And even if I use that as a vehicle to help fund that,
Mm-hmm.
there's that whole cost breakdown of
I
when you
understand.
do get that card and you sell it, how many packs do you get? Because you need packs to pull that card to get that type of card to sell it to keep that cycle going, if it makes sense.
Absolutely. Yeah, especially it's because you're in a very different situation than most people, let's put it that
Yeah,
way.
yeah. But again, like I've always liked opening shit. I've always spent my money like a dumbass. I'm
And
cool with it.
and bro, you spend your money
Do
exactly
however
how
you
you
want
want.
to.
Yeah,
America.
absolutely. Okay. Freaking. So it seems they've graded 73, and out of those 73, 66 came out of 10.
All right, seven. So there's 73 and 66 came out of
Dorian's giving
10s.
us the numbers.
Where is it? Oh, all right. So he said how many are all right, so OP09, 3 and a 6, 4 and a 7, 22 and a 8, 137 and a 9, 1940 and a 10. Jesus Christ.
Damn.
So you
Who's in the
do have
6?
an 80 to 90% chance of getting a fucking 10
Yeah,
on
bro.
these
That's
cards.
wild,
So
man.
you're right.
That's
You
a
You
guys
have
have
an
been
80 to
$3,000
waiting
90.
card.
for over 3 years. I've been preaching about One Piece.
But that's why I needed to see this. I needed someone to go over the fucking numbers with me,
Does it
someone that
make
knows
sense?
that's going to put up with me. So you're right. You have an 80 to 90% chance of getting a 10 with those mangas. Now let's break down the prices and see what all of those are selling at a 10 because we have to do the cost breakdown, see how many of them will get us cases and continue that fucking cycle.
Well, also keep in mind that there's 2 hits per case, and you have a chance of getting the Nami, the Bo Hancock, the wanted posters,
The
any
wanted
of
posters
these
are pretty
guys.
cool.
So you
But those
also
are
have to
not that high,
consider,
right? They're like
yeah,
$100 cards.
but think about it this way: if the booster box is 150 and there's 2 per
Yeah.
box,
It's almost worth
you're
opening
almost
at that
you're
point.
almost I
I
mean,
get
what
that.
I'm saying is that the return on your investment is much higher than Pokemon, where you could spend $160 and end up with $10 of cards.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. I see that. I get what you're saying in that regard.
Yeah, just in that sense, like there's gonna be more return, I would say, and especially if you hold on to these cards till next tax return season, when everybody gets their nice fat paychecks, all these cards are gonna go up. Not for
But
this specific set.
yeah.
All cards in One Piece and all cards in Pokemon are gonna go up.
All right. And then you need two cases to get one of these, right? So you have like a 50-50 chance at getting one in a case.
Yeah, let me make sure that's accurate.
Yeah. Because I was gonna say I still want to see what their PSA 10 counterparts are going for, or at least for a few of them. Like whatever is that available in the market because I know, like you said, it's kind of new. There's not going to be that many sales. I totally get it, but just to kind of wrap my head around it, like if I see that there's 4 or 5 of those fucking cards and they're all like 5 Gs or 6 Gs, then I know okay, you're probably going to get a 10 on one of these fucking cards, and a bunch of them are going for several cases worth. That's kind of worth it in itself. It could feed itself as a cycle.
Yeah.
But if
All
all the
right,
cards are
one to
selling,
10 boxes.
If it's
huh?
One per 10 boxes.
1 per 10 boxes.
Yeah, for the mangas, but that is any of the mangas, so the gold included.
so what, a case and a half?
Yeah, it
There's
seems these
12 in a case, right?
Oh, I wasn't sure. I was thinking, I don't
It
know.
just says 1 per 10 to 12 cases, and it doesn't matter
Oh,
gold or normal manga rare.
1 for 10 to 12 cases. So you
Yeah.
need 15 grand
No
to get a
shit, they're three
100
thousand
guaranteed
dollars.
manga, bro.
Oh
That's
boy.
not worth it. That's not worth it at that. Well, depending
Well,
on what they sell for.
look how many other high-dollar cards there are.
That's
Yeah,
the
but
point. This set is loaded, and a
yeah,
lot of these are playable cards.
no, I totally get that. But I'm just like,
Yeah,
yeah. So
Yeah,
it's a
you,
lot.
100%.
if you just run the numbers, you need 15 grand to guarantee one of the fucking mangas. It could be any of them. It can be the cheapest manga or the most expensive. You're only
Mm-hmm.
guaranteed one, and you get a bunch of the other $100 cards, which are not gonna be worth what the expensive manga is worth. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it gets hard to just let's buy
But
10
really,
cases,
The
open
gold,
them up, and make the money off of it because we opened it up just because we bought it.
yeah, but really, I mean, expectations
Give me a second. I'm gonna grab the cat.
are
the gold,
pretty high,
the
dude.
gold
Give me
manga sold in a tin at this last sold was 4,600.
Yeah, that makes sense.
4,600.
Yep.
In a PSA 10?
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So it's like
That-
5 Gs.
Yeah, basically.
And it's the most hype card so far because we've never had a gold version of manga rares before. So if you notice, let me show you the sales on TCG Player. I've been watching this set very closely because
Nobody
I
sh
have actually.
Inept has a good point, Base. Nobody should be ripping to see if you can get a manga though.
Exactly.
But Base rips
That
everything he
explains.
gets his damn hands on. Which,
I do.
go ahead.
You
Do
should
you?
be opening something like PRB01. That's more, realistic because
No,
it comes with these on
I
cards
wasn't.
much more expensive,
Yeah, but I'm not
I'm
even
just
saying like I want to rip it for that. I'm just because there's always people that say if you rip this set, you'll make money. If you rip this set, it's worth it
Who's
because
who said? Point me in the direction that says that,
well,
cause
One Piece
I'll
is one
tell
of the
him.
sets that people usually say like you can make money
Yeah.
just ripping
Well,
One Piece.
sometimes it. Yeah.
rarely ever heard that. Oh, you can make money ripping One Piece? Absolutely not. I mean, if you buy 12 cases, maybe the 12 cases, your losses will balance your gains, and you might make like $5. But in reality, no, you're gonna lose, and most people will lose more.
Here's a question though: is Crown Zenith worth opening? That's the only thing to me that is worth opening.
Depends. Pokemon for me is very weird because do you guys remember how after Wave 1, the hits seem to get weaker and weaker?
Yeah.
Okay,
Hmm.
Those sea and
what if that
skyboxes are fucking loaded though.
what if that's not
That's my opinion.
what if how do I say this?
Yeah, they did lower hit rates though. I do remember that, or it
Yeah,
felt
I'm
like it for
saying
sure.
what if it's manipulated, not by the Pokemon company, but by somebody else?
Crown Zenith itself.
No, in general, just any set that eventually loses their hit ratio over time. Because it happens to every single Pokemon set. You
Yeah.
know who it doesn't happen to? One Piece. I don't know why One Piece is super consistent, and then you go to Pokemon, and
You're
then
saying
all of a sudden
it's gotten harder over the years.
you pull duds. I feel like this might be the spicy take I'm going for. I
Nikita,
think after a
I agree,
certain amount of
Dorian.
people weigh the packs to a degree that they're just opening the heavy stuff and selling off the light stuff, and what people are opening are just duds, complete duds.
You think people are weighing modern packs
damn it,
or stud
Nikita.
finding?
Sure, sure, bro. It takes a second.
I've seen
Takes
a
two
video
seconds
recently with
to
a stud
calibrate
finder
the
guy.
scale. It's something that I wouldn't be surprised if all of a sudden somebody said like, "You've been opening all my dud packs that I had in my stinky basement next to Rudy's house." I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever.
I don't open enough though to even. Not anymore.
But that's very speculative. I might be boycotted from YouTube.
Yeah.
No, I agree with what you said. Honestly, like I feel like you're right sometimes. I feel like there are people who open enough product and they could get the hits and have a bunch of dud packs that they save to sell down the road in the market. The market opens these packs down the road and the hit rates aren't as hot because they're getting all this leftover stuff that was the light packs or the packs. Like let's say you're opening an ETB and you got a couple of really big hits, they could be like, oh, the rest of the ETB is dead, we're not even going to try, and save those packs. And there is that potential that they won't have anything else because you already got the big hit in that ETB. So I do see how that could be a possibility actually.
Yeah, and Inept says they're using magnets.
The
They
stud
are.
Using
finders.
magnets and shit to like figure out if if your pack has a hit in it. That's a good
Yep.
point. I also saw these metal detectors. Well, that was all over Rattle's channel. But
Yeah.
I mean, bro, it's
Nikita,
something as simple as that we brush under the table. We don't talk about. Everybody forgets, except for the people doing it.
Yeah,
'Cause
it's
they're all over that. Are you kidding me? Obviously, it worked for them, so they're gonna keep doing it. It
yeah.
doesn't take that long. It's so easy to do. I remember one time for my friends over in
No.
Central America, I weighed all these Crown Zenith packs and I made this like 36 pack heavy Crown Zenith booster box, quote
Mm-hmm.
unquote, because they don't have booster boxes. Um, the light packs, I advertise them on eBay as light packs. It was such a simple process, and it ended up working very well because in fact, all of the Crown Zenith packs were heavy, and
Okay.
somebody pulled the gold Dialga out of them. One thing I don't know is if the light packs obviously were in fact light, but what I do know is that it really was not a hard process and it didn't take very long. And I actually ended up getting almost MSRP for those packs at the time, which was like $3 or $4, I think. So I just barely broke even, or a little bit under break even at that point. So
Shi-
I don't see the downside to doing that.
Shiny Vert also, he weighs, like, every time a new set comes out, he'll weigh
Yeah,
the packs to see if
I
it's.
he
I
does.
I did not like the fact that he posted that video. I think that was very.
But he does it for every set.
I don't. Yeah, I know, but I don't
I
think
don't.
it's a good idea to advertise that stuff on YouTube when
Yeah,
there's so many
I get that.
people trying to
Yeah,
take advantage of it. And
But
I
they're
have
gonna
no
do it
problem.
anyways, right?
Yeah,
but
I
he
Shiny
does
Vert.
it to expose it, right? He does it to expose it
Well,
to show the masses, yo,
if it's
be
possible.
careful where you buy your shit, because this is what people can do. And he's going, look, I'm doing this shit. Look at the evidence. People say,
Yeah,
nah, trust me,
it's,
buy my packs. Look at this shit. That's what
uh,
he's doing. I'm just saying.
but it's a double-edged sword because you
Yeah.
could be teaching people things and you're also
Yeah,
influencing the
it's
Timmys to
like the
do.
CT scan stuff, how we brought it up. The news exposes it. Now everybody fucking knows about it. More people decide to do it.
There's
It
always
broadens the pool of people scamming that way.
there's always some
Yeah.
gray that goes with it.
I actually saw something interesting right before this live. Someone was calling out the fact that rip and shippers are scalpers.
Hmm.
All right.
Rip, rip
All
and
right.
shippers on
Wait.
TikTok and
I
whatnot
think
and
rip and
all that
shippers are
stuff.
running out of product
They're
Are
scalpers.
and going
Yeah.
into the
are we
wrong
So
touching
storage.
this one? We're touching this one because I
why?
know this one's controversial, but I have my thoughts on it. But again, I don't sell shit, right? I'm in a different boat. I don't sell shit. I don't buy product to sell. I don't flip anything. Literally everything I'm getting in product is just to be opened. It's going to be a loss. It's going to be opened, to be given away, or to
Right.
complete my
That's why
collection,
we need you
which
here
again,
to balance this out.
yeah. So, all right, hear me out. Hear me out. So, I'm probably going to get a few of my friends pissed off with this, but we're going to dwell into this, right?
Let it go.
I have heard that a lot lately. I've heard rip and shippers are scalpers, right?
Well,
This is where that line gets muddied. If being a scalper just means, hey, I'm going to go get this product so people can't get it so I could sell it and make a little bit of money, right? Then yes, rip and shippers would be scalpers in
why
that sense because they do go and get the product
is
to
that
go
why they're
sell it to
calling
make the
them
money.
scalpers? Why are they calling them scalpers?
They're calling them scalpers because they're buying all the product for a discount and then they're selling it on their TikToks or their whatnots for full MSRP.
What's the discount though? Because
So,
distros charging more
well,
than they ever have.
but
I guess MSRP now has changed and the bar has
Mm-hmm.
risen. So, like, let's say they sell it for 80, they buy it for 80, they're selling it maybe for 110, 120, something like that. So it's at least worth their time, I
Well,
would
they got to
say.
make it worth their time, right? Or it's not gonna. I don't know.
It depends. I don't really know how that works. I don't know how the hyped ones work. I only know small time TikTokers. But if they are the ones scalping, I think this really is not a problem for anybody, any one of us. This is 100% Pokemon's problem. This is 100% Costco's
well,
problem.
wait,
Well,
This
what are
is
we
100%
qualifying as
wait,
scalping?
problem.
wait.
Because scalping to
Well,
me is you have to be there taking shit from the stores.
so that's why I said we have to find out where the line is for scalping to draw the line to say whether or not they're
Are they?
scalpers.
Okay, so if it's at the stores, then if I buy out everything on TCG Player, that's not scalping. It's not scalping. That's just a
Well, it's
buyout.
yeah, that's a buyout.
What's the difference?
Because if you go
It's
to
been
stores, you're
there.
just buying it with the hope of reselling it, right? It would be buying out the product. No matter what, the store's happy. Pokemon's happy. We said when you were saying it's kind of Pokemon's problem, it's not really a problem for them. They're happy. Their
Just
shit is
talking.
sold. They made their money. They
Not
produce, they
not to
manufacture.
that not to that degree where people are like acting like criminals, bro.
Well,
That's
scalping.
No,
absolutely their problem.
but that's the thing though. Are they still selling the product or is it not selling because people act like criminals? It sells even more.
They're making their money. You're absolutely
It's marketing. They're a business. They're a corporation. They're not one
absolutely.
person. They're an entity. It's a conglomerate. It's a group. They need to make money. That's their goal, and that's it. Their goal is not world peace. Their
Yeah.
goal is make money. They made the shit. Did
Yeah,
it sell?
they don't care.
It sold.
The only problem is when there is an imbalance. For example, like with Prismatic Evolutions, their actual fan base didn't get the chance to open as much product as they wanted to.
Yes, they
That's
did.
when
Well, they're
If
that's when
they
they
buy from rip and shippers, if they buy from scalpers, they still get their product. And there's lots of fans that are doing it. How many content creators are still getting the product at 120 and opening it? Some rip and shippers are still buying it and still selling it, and people are still buying out those packs,
then let me
even though
rephrase.
it's the most expensive.
Okay, they may be opening it off of rip and shippers, but they're not opening it at what the retail value is.
That's
And I
true.
think that's where Pokemon is like, okay, we need to take a step back, start printing, start turning on the machines again, print the living crap out of this so that everybody can get this at retail price.
see,
Sorry about that.
I
That's my
think they
bad.
have been printing more than they ever
Yep.
have consistently year over year,
Yep.
and I think it's
And
just there's so
It's a
many more
PR thing.
people than I don't know. There's so much shit getting opened that it's it's hard to keep up with.
Yeah.
Every
I think that's their biggest issue, assessing how much supply they actually need. Because
yeah,
the market's bipolar. It
like
shifts from week to week. Like,
And
Prismatic isn't all the rage anymore,
before
is
all
it? I
this,
mean,
I don't. Is it? Not anymore.
is
We
it
forget
right?
about it a week fucking later. It's ridiculous.
We're
Like
in,
it's
we're in a lull. It's kind of
I
weird.
think
And to be
Prismatic's still
honest,
the rage.
everything's in a lull right now.
I
Uh-huh.
think Prismatic's still the rage because if they have a restock tonight, I'm sure there's gonna be a line of people waiting on that
oh
restock,
for
and the
sure.
first couple people are gonna scoop it all up.
Yeah.
When it's not the rage, it's gonna be when it's back on the shelves and people don't give a shit about it. Like 151 UPCs hitting $80 at Costco for a long time. People didn't give a shit. The Mew promo
Yeah.
now is worth half the fucking box. The damn box is like 200 almost, right? Or over 200. It's
Yeah.
expensive, right?
Yeah.
It's like 280 now, I
All right.
think.
So check it out. How many motherfuckers could have bought that box at 80? Just tucked away all those boxes when people didn't give a shit. Like,
What's that? What? The Charizard UPC, yes.
no, the Mew,
Mew
the
UPC. Okay.
151.
Yeah, you said Mew.
Yeah, they were selling those at Costco through eight for $80, bro.
Yeah.
And they were just there,
Yeah, that
piled
was
on for the longest. That is where the set FOMO dies. People don't care anymore.
well,
People care about that set now. It came out, it was popular, it died, it got down that fucking low, and now it's fucking spiked. You get me?
well, they knew that
We're not
that
at
reprint
that
was
point with
coming, so at
Prismatic.
that point they like you
And
had that
that's what
last little
Rudy was
reprint
preaching.
and then the Blooming Waters and then people knew it wasn't coming back, so
And that's what Rudy was preaching. See, Rudy was saying that the reprint didn't matter because it wasn't gonna go back down to the initial floor price.
yeah, people won't
So,
it no.
Yes.
They
so
won't.
ultimately, the reprint happened. It got swallowed up immediately, and again, it didn't go back to the floor price that it initially started as. So it's it's just
I got
buy when
another
you
example.
care about it because eventually they'll care about it when it dries up.
Check it out. I got another example. Charizard UPC. How
Temporal
much did people
forces.
pay on pre-order for GameStop for it? There was people that were paying over $200 for that UPC on pre-order. It came out. It was everywhere. People didn't give a shit. It tanked. It was going below MSRP for a long time, a long fucking time. Now
The
how
thing
high is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the thing about the Charizard UPC is that when it initially came out, it was supposed to be like a super premium item that was very limited. But then everybody complained, so Pokemon released an announcement saying, "We heard you loud and clear. We heard you want more Charizard UPCs, so we're gonna print 1 million." And
Yeah,
then they printed the living crap out
Yeah.
of it. So you would
they
go to
did.
any Target and you could find them just
It was a
everywhere.
great product though.
Turned the
I
market,
agree,
it
but
turned
they
the market
printed the
up.
shit out of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and it dried up, and now look at
Everybody
it now.
opened the bitches. Yep.
so
Let's,
Look
prismatic,
at that multiplier.
prismatic. So prismatic. Let's say they print the shit out of it. It floods the market. We see ETBs everywhere. People don't give a fuck, right? 3 years down the line, you tell me that set won't be fucking hyped up again when it's all dried up?
I don't think
When
there's
people
gonna
realize
be.
that hype again?
I don't think there's gonna be
You don't think
even
they're gonna
enough
print it?
brought out to make people
Satisfied.
not give a shit. Yeah.
I
Okay.
don't.
I agree with you. I
I
agree
don't.
with
I
you,
don't.
Mark.
Or
I
it
do.
could be like Crown Zenith, and we all know it's great because it is a great set, and then it just eventually gets its glory like it should. We need to read the chat because we're ignoring our two people that love us.
Yeah. But you guys get what I was saying there, right?
Yes.
Like
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
also I use that same argument with every UPC because there's the Greninja UPC and there's the Terapicos UPC, right? Those are two new UPCs.
Yeah, but I wouldn't. I'd leave the
Yes,
Greninja alone.
So I think if you have one or two in your sealed collection, over time those UPCs all go up.
They will.
Over time,
Yeah.
all those UPCs become scarce as fuck.
It's
The
got
Greninja
exclusive
one
items
has
in
the
them as
metal
well.
promo.
Yeah.
Those metal promos, that's gonna be the only way to get it if you're a metal promo collector. Those are some of the hardest cards to grade out of all the cards.
bro. Even
I
that
think they quit
Greninja
grading the
coin,
metal ones.
very cool.
What's up?
I think they
The
quit grading.
Greninja coin.
Oh, my bad.
No, they brought it back. They brought it back for the 151 metal card.
Oh. FOMO, what were you
Oh,
saying?
right. I was saying even the coin looks like super cool. Have you ever seen the Greninja coin that's in the UPC?
I
It
haven't.
is one of the trippiest coins I've
Is it a
seen.
shuriken? Like the box?
No,
No?
it's like the face of Greninja, but the way the thing moves, like it has this design
Oily?
to it. It's very interesting, and it kind of looks like a shuriken, but in a weird way of explaining it. It looks like that optical illusion where you're looking at a spiral and it changes form and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Let's, Inept says, scalpers are exploiting the supply and demand ratio by tipping it via clearing out retail stores which are intended for customers. That's the main issue, which exasperates available supply. It says
Oh,
Dorian
that
says
is
there are some nasty individuals that buy extreme amounts of product at wholesale discount, but then also buying out local stock.
There's been videos of different like TCG store owners and stuff that do that like at Targets. Yeah.
Yeah. I think my local store is actually buying out the stock down here because there's only. I need to go check and see. There's only like two, maybe two, like two and a half, 1.5 local game stores. Because one is more like Magic and Warhammer and Dungeons and Dragons and shit.
hmm There's a Target near me. There's a fucking TCG store in the same like plaza as that Target, and those dudes go to that Target and clear it out every time that it gets restocked. And they're cool with the people that work at that
But they
Target.
also,
And when you go to their store, they sell everything
there's
at
nowhere
what's
else to
going
get
on.
product.
Huh?
Like, there's nowhere, like, game stores are waiting on their product to come and there's no more product coming. So they're, I don't, I can see where you would have to go and try to get as much as you can from somewhere else. Like, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah. But what I'm
see.
saying is like
It
they're
sucks.
right there, they're neighbors. So
Yeah,
they're pretty much doing it a few times per day. So it does make zero opportunity for you and me,
right,
the normal customer.
right. It
And they do
sucks,
mark it
but
up.
it sucks for everybody, right?
Yeah.
Think about the egg
Going
crisis. Like the
going
egg
back
crisis right now, if you're a restaurant and you need eggs, but they're so expensive, you start borrowing eggs from other restaurants, but you start owing them favors like trade and barter type situation.
hmm
Yeah.
That's how they do it, bro.
You know, take
Even
some
restaurants over here,
some
they
chat
just
base.
what I'm reading the chat messages that are coming in from Dorian right now.
What's he saying?
All right. He had a few messages, so I'm gonna start at the top.
yeah.
So he said there are some nasty
Appreciate you.
individuals that buy extreme amounts of product at a wholesale discount, but then also buying out local stock. So that's what we were touching on right now about like people that own stores. They might be able to get stuff at wholesale discount, but they're still buying stock. But then you know how you were saying, well, if they're not getting any more stock, they have to go get.
Yeah, they got to get something.
Yeah. And then it said a lot of people with insane amount of capital buying out popular sets, which is true. There is a lot of whales buying out popular sets because they have all the capital behind them to be able to just go ahead and do it. Prismatic, in my honest opinion, is always going to be expensive because evolutions,
Yeah.
first English print of Master Balls, etc. I would include
Oh
because
yeah.
it's the first set with a full God pack.
I
We
don't think
had
that's
Demi
going to
God
slow
pack in
down.
151, but full God pack. And then after that, he said, I mean, anything exclusive and out of print goes up in price. Look at older check lane blisters. Everything goes up eventually. And that is kind of true because I have told people, tell me what hasn't gone up in price. When they've told me not everything goes up in price, I've told them, point to me to what exact item is 5 or 10 years old and it costs MSRP right now or below.
Yeah.
I've never had a single person tell me this item is and like show it to me. You know what I mean? So he is right. Especially the more exclusive it is, the older it is, it's gonna go up in price.
Mm-hmm.
I heard a
And then
topic.
he
Go
had
ahead. Go ahead.
oh yeah, there's just one more. It said, I've always joked that I'll always have stock availability because I'm in the boonies, but there is someone coming out and buying out everything. Even the LGCs are sold out, even the BS loose cards.
I felt
And
the same
Mystic
way
X.
here in El Paso. You'd think there's not a lot of people into this stuff, especially because we don't have
They
many
come out the
LGS.
woodwork, man. Like,
Bro,
like where
we
the
do
fuck were all these people
shadows,
at? I was here
and these
last week and
people
there was shit ton of stuff.
and these people are always on time. Like they're always probably 5 minutes before the store opens because I get there like an hour later, there's nothing.
I swear,
And that was a
they got
while
the
ago.
restock ladies calling them like, "Hey, tell me 30 minutes before you come, and I'll show up while you restock."
Or they
Well,
know what vehicles they're coming in.
that's a good point.
Like,
They
hey,
probably just
call me
know
when
that
you restock. I'll come pick everything up from you. I'll
nobody has
slide you a
to
little something on the side.
yeah,
That
Yeah.
easy.
you don't even have to mark it as inventory.
No, not that. It's keeping that person's job secure because you know everything's going to sell out immediately. You're going to have to come back tomorrow. That customer is going to need to reach out again to distribution and have you going back and forth
Well,
from the
they'll
warehouse
leave the
to
theme
that point.
boxes. They'll leave the Ogre Pawn EX box. They'll leave that stuff. But the good stuff is um. And Ep
Yeah.
says it's also against the Pokemon Company's policy for stores to buy from other stores to sell to customers.
Ah,
And what Pokemon don't know won't hurt them, right?
Interesting. So they
I
can
did not know.
massively sue a lot of people, basically.
Like how we were just talking about stores that go and clear out Target to sell
Yeah.
that product at their stores.
Technically, you can't do private deals if it's meant to be sold retail.
Does anybody follow the rules ever?
No, professionalism is dead. Somebody said something very interesting about that, saying that professionalism is like not necessary
Get
in
no
this case.
respect. Yeah.
It's, it's professionalism is not greater than you being right, something like that. So it's more important for you to give your ego a satisfaction boost because you think you're right rather than being professional towards whatever it is you're doing. So that's why there's just a lack of professional chivalry be damned because professionalism is now out the table too.
Yeah. Can we expect that with Pokemon though? Professionalism.
Oh, definitely. Well, I don't expect professionalism. I
I
expect
say
the
that, but
opposite.
there's very good people
There's
out
so
there that
many
are.
unprofessional people. I don't
But there's also
I
very
don't
professional people too.
tell you to ship my card 7 days after I purchased it. I thought that would be
Yeah.
obvious.
Yeah.
My bad.
That's true. Yeah, if you're
Not
trying to
to
do
leave
something,
a bad review.
do it right.
I
Yeah.
mean, seriously, bro. Nobody's
Take
gonna
pride in
do this
what you're
right
doing.
for you. Just please, if you don't treat this seriously, I wonder how you treat other aspects of your life, bro. It's like,
Sure, but think of
like
why Pokemon specifically put that in the contract and what happened because and what's happening because it's not happening. Scalpers are buying at retail, then reselling 2 to 3 times the retail. Yeah,
so it so ultimately it is Pokemon who is responsible for all of this. It's the companies, but ultimately the one who has to enforce it is Pokemon. Because
seems
I mean, you look at Costco, you look at Walmart. If it weren't for the mob of people, they wouldn't have changed anything. If it weren't because people started getting into fist fights, they didn't change anything. It's like
Yeah.
something has to happen for anyone to do anything about it. Why is that the world we live in nowadays? I don't get it.
Later's a Neth card collector. He's going to bed, guys.
later, man. I
Take care,
appreciate you
bro.
stopping by. Um,
I see what you're saying. So, all right. How long has Pokemon been out for in the US?
1996.
Since
29.
1996, right?
Yeah.
Besides the recent fights at Costco, besides someone who got shot and killed during the pandemic at a Target, I think it was at a Target that somebody got shot and killed over Pokemon cards.
yeah.
How many other spikes have happened and how many people have gotten hurt, assaulted, robbed during those? And stuff still hasn't changed.
No, it's not.
And people still continue to FOMO over Pokemon and it gets more popular and more popular every year.
Well put.
And how organic do we think this is? Like, how many more people are going to be left over from this that is actually organic?
That's the thing.
Like, there's so many
Think of
people from Pocket. I don't know.
I don't
Or
think there's
maybe
gonna be.
people just get stuck with it.
I think there was a lot. I think a lot more people will. How do I say this properly? I think more people stayed during the boom than people will stay after this boom. Let's put it that way.
But this is the thing. All right, why do you think that? Why do you think this boom more people will drop out? Like what are some of your thoughts on that?
Good question.
Why would they drop out?
There, well, yeah. Why would there be much more dropouts
Yeah.
than during the
Yeah.
last boom?
Because I
Uh,
got a counterpoint. I actually think the opposite, but I do want to hear your point before I list mine. Again, just we're spitballing here, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. See, the way I see it is the
Henry
boom
Daddy.
started with surging sparks. It's the way I'm looking at it, it's going to end with the 30th anniversary set, which is next year.
All right.
Uh, because everything's going to be hyper inflated until next year, I think a lot of people are going to FOMO for these prices because, in general, the more you see a price, the more normal it seems to become. You know, you see a card worth $30 every day. Eventually, $30 seems like reasonable all of a
It's
The
like
sudden.
new
a mass
floor.
collusion of
You know?
everybody wanting everything to.
And these people are not as invested or haven't been as long as we have been in this, and they don't understand what is about to happen.
They're about to get
Where all
burnt.
this stuff is way up here, and as they continue to buy it, each day they run the risk of that price completely falling flat on its head.
Hmm.
Because it's inevitable. It's not sustainable for this many people to be in this hobby without there being some pushback, without something happening. Something is going to happen.
They're gonna.
Every single
Yeah.
freaking week we have problems with CT scanning, with grading
Yep.
companies, with card quality, everything. There's
I
always
got a
an
perfect analogy. Perfect analogy. All right, check this out.
go ahead.
McDonald's started with one restaurant for fast food. It's now worldwide. It became known everywhere. It scaled up. Along the way, people died from food poisoning. Stuff that would shut down one restaurant, that would cripple a corporation. Yeah, it's in every airport. It's near every school. It's near every hospital. It's everywhere, worldwide, in every country. Pokemon just tapped into a certain market in China. It's tapping into other markets of the world. Those people are now interested in those sets they get over there. those people are going to look to other sets when they can't get those sets. Let me get some English. Let me get some Japanese. Those people are going to tap into our markets. The knowledge of
They
Pokemon
already
as still
have.
being a seed is still being planted in new people, and those generations are spreading down to their kids. And what Daddy likes, Junior is gonna like as well because he's gonna grow up seeing Pokemon now,
Yeah,
I would
hating
agree
for
with
it.
you, but look at comic books.
That's
which eventually became cartoons, which eventually became movies, and Marvel's Avengers,
well,
highest
Junkwax
grossing movie of all time.
is a good point. As
Yeah,
much shit is being ripped open.
but look at kids, they don't relate to superheroes as we did. Meaning like they don't when they
Disney acquired Marvel. I would
watch
say the
that's
opposite.
They also
I
ruined it
mean,
though too.
uh, uh, Us
I
being
mean
the original people that liked it, yes.
Yeah,
New people are only going to see these series and think that's what Marvel is. They're not going to know about our series.
at least they haven't
yes,
got
but
DC.
at the same time, there's also one other key factor between comic books. It's that video games are taking the place of comic books as like a collectible item in people's eyes, and it's a
Or anime.
generational. So I feel like yes, kids relate to Pokemon, but they don't relate to it in the same way that we do. Meaning that it could be that 10 years down the line, cards are not essentially the thing then. Maybe it's some digital card because now we have TCG Pocket. Maybe TCG Pocket is the catalyst to make everything digital. You never know.
And Pokemon is making that transition. They're leading the charge, right? So when they leave all the physical packs, they've got that market on lockdown, baby. They're the leader.
Dorian,
Oh,
explain a little
you
more. What do
guys
you mean?
can't understand it anymore. It gives
Give
you
me a
like an
second, fellas.
unbelievable.
I need like 2 minutes, all right? I'm going to take a quick restroom break, but I'm going to come back. Don't end the conversation. I'm still
It's
deeply
very
invested.
Yeah.
yeah, that's super interesting.
Dorian says, honestly, as much as I love Pokemon, ripping packs, etc., I just didn't think it was a viable community for myself to get in, especially with how hectic my schedule is. It's a heavily saturated market.
Yeah, definitely.
But what do you mean by that? What are you trying to get into? What's
The whole
you
ripping
didn't
back
like
situation.
originally you thought it wasn't viable? I'm pumped for my cards to get back. Passed your test?
Yeah, let's see. Got a 85 and a 90 on the quizzes.
Congratulations.
Thanks, bud.
He says, for one, I'm in the Navy, so streaming is already hard as it is. You're right.
Oh, that makes perfect
Yeah.
sense.
It's hard to.
No wonder you rip packs. So it's just easier for you to do this online instead of going to a store, buying a pack, ripping it for yourself. Makes total sense.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Shug says that he gets a lot of military people from the United States, so he ends up sending the mail back and forth. It's pretty convenient.
So do you ever think all these cards will see their junk wax day? Since there are
Junks.
so many of these popular cards, these expensive, rare cards.
Oh, definitely. But the market has to have some very weird shift
Well, it's
where,
like,
like,
well, from it's like all the vintage stuff wasn't really graded, but now these days we're putting everything into a time capsule in plastic. So it's like
Back.
all these things will stand the test of time versus back then when it wasn't so popular, you know.
I would say that that would be the case when pop starts to matter again, if it ever does.
If
Once pop
popularity
starts
dwindles
mattering,
that much,
I mean, that was, bro, in antiques and collectibles, the thing that determines whether something is valuable, one of the factors is pop.
yeah.
and it's for every single collectible, every single antique.
But with the hobby
Only
so big, how is 20,000 cards really that much? So it's really all determined on how many people are in the hobby at any given point
Hmm.
and who actually wants the shit.
And if they're willing to pay what the market is asking for at that specific given moment, because there might be cards for sale at a given moment for a higher amount, but they don't sell until they reach a lower floor.
Yeah.
15,000 Umbreons is a pretty crazy number, though. And you would think that's a lot, but really, in the macro scale of things, it really is nothing. It's barely even
Right.
scraping the surface.
That's what I'm. It all really depends on how much popularity dwindles. Yeah.
Popularity, 100%. But at the same time, if there's a
New
very
Blinky.
weird shift where the market gets super bipolar, maybe, let's say, for example, all of a sudden, do you guys remember the Umbreon, the Moonbreon? It just dropped in price on TCG Player. Like it spiked down and then it went back up, like as if everything were normal again.
Somebody dumped them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, it was a fake sale. Somebody dumped them for like $10, something like
Oh
that.
wow.
Yeah, so it was completely BS. TCG Player needs to fix that. But the point of that is, let's say some guy tried to repeat that when Moonbreon is like,
Not as
let's say
liquid.
not as liquid, or 5,000, it's like $5,000 in price, but they sell it for $10. All of a sudden it drops in price half, and it's not as liquid, and people start panic selling. And then they start panic selling Evolving Skies, and just like a domino effect, everyone is just selling everything Pokemon related.
But it
I
could
can
also
see
have a different effect where somebody dumps them at a certain price and everybody instantly buys them up. And then it comes right back
absolutely
just like it happened.
the market has to be extremely
Like it is
bullish.
now. Right.
Exactly. Like with Prismatic Evolutions, as Bay says, is probably going to get eaten up. With Surging Sparks, it's probably going to get eaten up. With Journey Together, I'm not sure because of how people are with these trainer cards, but I'm
All right.
expecting it to be eaten up just
Yeah.
in
All
a
right.
normal
Collectors will
How
eat
state.
it
many
up for sure.
how many sets have Lily in it?
What,
She
one?
was
Or
hyped in Sun and Moon, right? Or
Yeah.
was it
She's
XY?
Sun and Moon.
Sun and
She's
Moon, Sun and Moon, there's four Lily cards in Celebrations. There's one,
and then there's the
mainly in
older full art.
the
There was an
older
older full art that's really expensive. All right.
Yeah, that's from
What if that
base.
hype comes back for that Lily card? That's the main chase. That set takes off easy because of that.
I
That's
don't.
why I'm holding a few lilies actually, but I couldn't afford that $500 card.
Did it
More
go
more than
away though? Everybody loves Lily though, right?
it did go away. It's because all waifu hype went away, but Lily was still. I think Lily was like $1,200 card, and then it went down to 500. But if that hype for Lily comes back, which I'm expecting it will be,
English,
because
right?
the yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
Japanese one is way more
yeah. That's
expensive.
what. Yeah.
But I expect that if that Lily hype comes back, which I do expect, I think that card will just go right back up to $1,000, 1,200, possibly even find a new high at like 1,500 or $2,000, depending on whatever the hell it wants to do.
You'll see a
But
lot
that
more for
Yeah.
depends.
sale.
That also requires people buying the card.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It does. Not just people listing it because that's what it's being sold for, but actual completed sales from
Yeah.
individuals that came in with funds. What I was going to say is, I think it's funny how I brought up a couple of points or plays. You could call it whatever you want to call it. And you were already like, that's why I got a couple of these. I think it's hilarious, dude.
Yeah.
We're thinking alike in that regard.
I have to call out this card, because this card,
It's
its
beautiful.
lowest listed
Holy shit,
is
man.
$309. I bought this card for 125
When did that
bucks.
When did that happen?
I bought this
Yeah.
right here, bro. And then it
Yeah.
just popped off. And now I
Reset,
look
right?
at, and people are actually paying $300 for this card. What's up?
Are we?
Give me a second here.
There's some Wi-Fi issues or something happening.
Mine's dropping out. I'm gonna leave and I'm gonna come back.
Okay.
So
Yours
I'm
is
gonna
too,
miss you.
FOMO. You're cutting out as well.
Oh,
I'm
really?
back. You just have to refresh the stream sometimes. You literally have to exit
You're
the
good
whole
now.
stream and come back.
Good.
He's still a little freezy to me.
I'm gonna come back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, but I have to
Yeah.
show the
But,
screen
yeah,
again.
just
That's fine.
but you'll just put end stream and yeah. I did it and it fixed everything on my end here. Because that's how Discord gets with long calls sometimes.
There
You're
we
good.
go.
Dorian said, but every day there's a new PokeTuber channel popping up, even more so with the new boom. So attempting to grow as a channel is much harder. Yes, I feel that. That's why we're on here talking to one another. So that's why I geared towards gaming. Always new games, different genres, etc. But always a way for my friends to join in without pigeonholing myself, if that makes
That's
sense.
great.
I do
I
rip
love
quite a
Yo,
bit.
Henry Daddy came in.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know if
saw
you
that.
saw that.
I said hey. I don't know if you heard me. He does rip quite a lot. He enjoys buying product and then during break on the stream and ripping packs some to get personal fun, but people get to watch if they enjoy.
Yeah, I had read his stuff.
Something
I
close.
didn't read it out loud because there was a few messages, but I did read your messages as well, Dorian. Just so you're aware.
Yeah, that makes sense. It is really hard. Like I've watched several channels that started from nothing or instantly have enough good quality stuff that they blow up.
Fortunately, you have a lot of ¿cómo se dice? You have a lot of content with video games.
Yeah.
Fortunately, and it's fun. I mean, that's one thing that I could get used to because you're just playing a game, talking smack with your friends. That's
Yeah.
chill.
We need to get on that
Turn
eventually.
on the live. Why not?
Yeah,
I would be in.
I'm
I still
down.
need I finished Scarlet, but I'm trying to see if there's any post content after you beat the game.
We played once, right, Merc?
Yeah, we
We
played.
played Call of Duty once
There's
or
Call of
twice.
Duty. I'd like to play Unite with you guys eventually, and maybe some
That's on the
chivalry,
phone.
because I
Oh,
think
that's
you
on the
guys would
Switch.
enjoy that. It's on the phone as well. I play on the phone.
You guys remember that game Fall Guy?
Oh yeah,
I
Fall
love
Guys.
that game. The game is just a nice game that you don't have to think
It's
too hard. You
casual,
just play the game and it just is
bumping
a
around
nice
with
way to
everybody.
stress. Yeah,
Yeah, my son still plays it.
it's fun. I
I
like
enjoyed
it.
it. I was watching other streamers how they try to play the game and everybody would join with them and not let them play. It's pretty cool.
Ah,
Like they'd all grab onto him, like just massive groups of people grabbing the streamer. So they had to
yeah,
quit
just
playing because nobody would let them actually play the game.
yeah. I saw Charlie Moist Critical
Mm-hmm.
do the opposite, where he was the one grabbing
Oh,
everybody.
really?
Yeah,
Of
and he
Yeah,
course.
he's
became like a
cool.
monster at that.
Yeah,
He's funny.
he is.
Yeah, he's a collector, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh.
He's
Now
a
he's in One
he's
Piece.
a
Pokemon.
He was
TCG-aholic.
into Pokemon too, right? Didn't he have a massive slab collection?
Yeah.
He has like a
Or
whole
I don't think they're
thing
slabs.
wall with like basic cards.
He's more Magic though. He rips very
Yeah.
expensive boxes and just plays with
Oh
the
my
very
God.
expensive cards. So
The Alpha deck.
respect. Yeah. Did you watch that whole
Oh,
And
thing?
then
And then
I
Post
watched
Malone
the
as
whole.
Dorian,
well.
Bro, those cards were in horrible condition.
The
I
backs,
wouldn't even
they're ate up.
try.
Yeah.
Mm.
yeah,
Magic
Dorian
is
just said in chat. He said Eddie can tell you I'm an 18 plus streamer. It's all about just having some fun, talking smack, and letting loose. Some days we take it serious. Some days we laugh at the people who rage.
yeah,
And he's right,
it's all
dude. Like
practice till you win.
it's unhinged in his live stream because I think
I've stopped in a few
Dorian,
times.
correct me if I'm wrong. The longest we've gamed is like 7 to 8 hours, dude,
That's crazy.
uninterrupted. Like we went 7 to 8 hours, I think, for Black Ops one times. But again, correct me if I'm wrong, Dorian. But I do think that happened once, and like we're just talking shit. He's getting fucking a good buzz going. I'm fucking taking a couple of dabs, and we're just it's like this. It's you're just hanging out with your friends. You're just talking shit. You don't give a fuck who hears what. It's just you, unfiltered, raw in that fucking moment.
Yeah.
That's how his streams are for his gaming streams.
I think Chivalry would be really fun to stream because you're all medieval knights in some way, and you just talk shit to each other, and you're defending whatever you're defending. So
Yeah,
I think it'd make for good commentary of what we're doing.
you'd
Storm
be
the
like,
gates!
over here.
Storm the gates! Yeah, fuck it's crazy because there's so many. It's hand to hand combat, and you're
Yeah,
just uh, going from post to post. It's cool. Or swords to swords, I guess.
melee combat.
Yeah, melee. You know
Yeah.
what I mean. Well, guys, do you want to call it for the night? It's 1 o'clock my time.
Well,
But
Well,
it's
before
go
we
up
ahead.
do
to you.
that, let me just finish
Yeah,
Yeah,
this.
finish.
because we didn't
And
even do our show and
I
tell
know
for
we.
today.
Oh yeah,
There's
I
some
don't even know
people
if I
we didn't
have
touch.
anything.
I actually wanted to show these for Bay
You're
too,
on.
because situation as well.
There we go.
You can see?
You just shared screen.
There you go.
Sweet. Okay,
King
so
Gambit.
we have the King Gambit. I made this play a while ago when this thing was over here. And just because the Greninja and the King Draw are between 15 and I don't even know how much the Greninja is at this
I think
point.
the Greninja was close to 30, dude. Or no, or
Yeah,
am I tripping?
I think you're right. The Greninja's 30 and the King Draw is like 15, if I'm not mistaken.
I
They're
think
up
so.
there, yeah, dude.
So, in my opinion, I feel like this card can go a little further up than $3.
Yep.
It's a very nice card. I just sent one in actually.
Bro, it was so hard to find one of them that was in
Yeah.
gradable condition. All right, Bay. So here we have your Lunala from Celebrations with Lily in the background.
Good luck.
Yes.
Okay, check this out. $89 in a PSA 10.
That's what I'm talking about. So the celebrations cards,
What's the
They're
pop in
cheap. You
that
can get
though?
them for like 20 cents a pop on TCG Player.
Go down. Go to that population history though.
What
Or
is
is that just
population? That's
go back
on
up?
the pop report on it.
You see at the bottom of that
Oh, where it says population history
yeah.
with that little graph line. Yeah.
I don't have to be a
Or is
pro.
that oh, okay, okay.
That's for pro people. I
But
don't
if you
pay.
plug that card into PSA, we'll see the population reports on it to see how many are translating over to PSA 10.
I think they're pretty hard to grade.
Let's see, celebrations.
But if you
They
spam
should
enough of
be
them for 10 cents, like you'll get a
they
few.
should be hard to grade because Celebrations has some of the worst card quality I've ever seen on cards.
Celebrations has been going up for singles.
Yeah, you're right.
We
For
got an
the Ombre,
actual new gold star in celebrations, and nobody even like drawn by the original artist of the original gold stars, and it's a promo. Nobody, whatever. It's whatever. It, I don't know. It's not a real gold star, but it kind of is.
Yeah. They say it's because it's not one you pull, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I just look at it differently.
what am I doing?
You
Control
have to.
F.
71 and a 10. Shrouded Fable has been popping off. Yeah, but
It is like a 30% chance out of 10.
yeah,
Woof.
yeah.
Let's see, Solgaleo.
That's why there's so
Well,
much.
Yeah.
but although I did find one that was pretty
But
decent.
I get
Yeah,
what you're saying,
8
though.
and a 10.
Let's say you put $20 to just buy a bunch of copies and see if you get one that's worthy.
Yeah,
If you get one that's worthy and you send it in and you sell it, you made some money.
Exactly. And
a little
that's
bit.
specifically for the Lunala. There are other cards that are a little bit easier. For example,
I
is
love
what the
Solgaleo.
Solgaleo is in PSA 10. And I would go hard on TCG Player because the point was not to grade these cards. The
Right.
point was just to hold them at 24 cents.
Yeah.
because I know you can easily bump them up to 99 cents once Lily releases and Journey together. And you
I
could
get
sell
that.
it for 99 cents.
I don't even know if I
But
pulled that card in celebrations. That's Solgaleo.
I'll send you like 20 of them, bro. I've
Go
got a
ahead.
shit ton.
Solgaleo's my dude. He reminds me of Zoids.
actually, I have
All right.
40 in my deck box over there.
Like
And
I
this,
don't think I pulled any of those.
You know what, dude? I'm gonna fucking write that down because I have a prize bag for you, bro. You have I think a Scizor from Obsidian Flames over here
Okay.
in your prize bag.
It's gradable. You can have it and grade that bitch. Just saying.
I gotta look at it
we should
because
check
I
it out.
just
One of these days, we should check it out so we can give you some tips on centering
Yeah.
stuff like that. Oh yeah, so the Mewtwo 151, it's 45 in a PSA 10. This is much easier to grade. And I know because I've seen some with like 70-30 centering getting PSA 10s. The idea behind this card is one, that I think this will go up in price over time as 151 becomes scarcer.
Mhm.
And I think this price will go up as the Rocket set with Mewtwo releases.
You're
And
spamming margins right now.
yeah, and
Yeah.
also this is Akiragawa.
Yeah.
So I'm a big fan.
There has
It's a
been.
little bit of bias, but a little bit of eye candy for the fans.
Yeah.
I do like that card. It's a very nice looking card,
It
honestly.
is.
This
Yeah,
card.
There's been
Yeah.
16 total cards released that feature Lily. It's insane on her hype. Yeah. That's why I
yeah.
say
Yeah, she is
don't doubt
the
battle
strongest,
partners.
isn't she? I mean, Hex Machina is Hex Maniac is pretty
Yeah.
uh, popular as well.
That's an awesome
But
looking
Lily,
card.
by far, the Hex Maniac,
Yeah.
I've been trying to find that card in a PSA 10 uh,
It's a bu- for
candidate. It's
Oh,
impossible.
you're gonna drop a fat stack of cash.
She's not paying attention. That she's on that shelf now.
It's like $80. And that concludes our market watch.
Yeah.
But this is a market watch
The
for
actual
cheap
watch.
cards.
Yeah.
For cheap cards, not
Not after
over.
the fact. Before the
Yeah,
fact.
Only card you could think maybe it was overinflated was Morty's Conviction, but that card has reached its like basically all-time floor.
yeah.
Temporal
That
Forces
card
to
used to
me
be
is
80 and now it's at
fantastic.
40. Yeah, and it's a good card. I
It's
have
got
high
new
hopes
shit and
for
it's got fundamentals, so I don't know. I got hopes
Yeah.
for it. But I'm also financially invested in Temporal Forces, so I will disclose that.
what do you like about Temporal?
The Legendary Beasts, the fact that Ancient Future, like it's probably not gonna come back.
Huh.
It's
Oh, good point.
I don't know.
Did it
I always liked it.
Raging Bolt is
Yeah.
super playable. I'm into playable cards now because of One Piece. So I'm into the Iono from
Well, if it's
Paldea Vault.
also an awesome card, it helps too.
Yeah, Raging Bolt. I'm all into that. I like the Suicune a lot. The
Yeah. Walking Wake.
ancient Suicune, Walking Wake. It's so cool. It's
I like
so
all of
blue.
them. Gouging. Yeah.
Ah, even the Entei, very cool with that. How,
Gouging Fire, Pineapple King.
bro? Why would they make him look even more threatening? And he already is.
Into I just want to know what the hell
Like,
that
did
thing
he
is on his
really
head.
need to be more threatening?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, great
Oh,
set.
The
that
future,
brings us
even the
to a
future
point.
side looks fantastic too. Those cards are fucking
All right.
crazy
Oh
looking.
yeah.
That brings us to a point that I brought up in one of our messages about do you think there could potentially be a future or ancient version of Eevee
Oh,
in the future for us?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I
I don't know. It's
Uh,
possible,
do you think they buried that like
but
for good?
yeah, as far as sets go, I don't think they're gonna come back unless something
Like
happens in the anime
They
that
should.
triggers it.
it's
Really,
Like
something that
they
Lucian.
should.
There's the
it's
new guy
available.
in the anime that has like they're trying to find him and go back to the whatever place. So unless they make like a trainer card with him and a new set with the ancient Pokemon again, I don't know. I don't know though. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But what other possibilities do you
FOMO,
think
do
there
you know?
could be for possible new evolution? Or do you think that evolutions are locked in at what they have right now?
I
Oh,
don't.
no way. I think we're getting a mega.
There's no
We're
reason not to make another one. Like 10 generations, the 10th evolution.
Yes.
I count Eevee, so that makes 10.
well,
30th anniversary. It's.
Imagine it's Eevee themed instead of 151 themed for the 30th anniversary.
I hope not.
It's the year.
It'd be awesome, but I hope just for our sake to actually be able to get some.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no kidding.
Which also, I hope they don't go back to like a classic collection. I hope it's something like a generations with the Radiance and the Radiant collection, stuff like that.
I
A
think
new
they
thing.
should just reprint more old cards. I think that worked very well the first time. Just don't print so many.
Yeah. We'll just
Like,
or pick a different set. You don't have to do base set. Give me some.
oh
Give
yeah,
me something else.
absolutely. I
Yeah.
I
meant like the whole celebrations theme where they did the Gold Star Umbreon.
Some
Do
old
something like
e-readers or something. Bring back some.
yeah, reprint the dogs, the
Yeah.
Gold Star dogs and stuff like that. That would be cool because it's already reprinted
Yeah.
technically.
but Merc just said something. He's like, don't do it again, right? Like they've already done this like with base set, like we've seen it, right?
Yeah.
But even though we've seen it, how many times does it work for them?
Katie, what up? It's worked every time. I know it works, but it's.
So if it works,
And
why
I
mess
know
with
we're
it?
looking back on what it was, but it doesn't have to
Yeah,
be. There's so many
I
other
get it.
cool Charizards to pick from if they want to go with
Yeah.
Charizard, right?
I get it, and I agree with you. But what I'm saying is, looking at it, like, just look at it. They're the Pokemon company. They want to make their money. They want to sell their shit. If they did it before and it's worked, and they think they could do it again and it might work, why should we anticipate they might not? Or like, you get me? Like, they probably fucking will.
Yeah. Imagine a Charizard classic collection through the years. You imagine that? The fucking craziness would happen.
Yeah. Oh, Katie's here. Nice. Katie Jade.
Yeah,
How's it
what up?
going?
Appreciate you
They
stopping
do
in.
tend to follow that rinse and repeat formula of just recycling
Yeah.
stuff over and over.
Ooh.
But the
Dorian
people
said
like it.
Dorian said Pokemon Day artwork with the hot air balloon has people thinking they are teasing a new evolution due to the colors being all evolution types with an extra one.
Oh, a little sneaky, sneaky.
Interesting.
Yeah, that is.
Is it blue? Is the color blue or black by any chance?
Spot where Shug should be.
The
What is
spot,
the
yeah.
color, Dorian?
Yeah.
I didn't know about that added color thing. I did not know that fact. That completely blew my mind.
See, there's speculation that there was going to be a new evolution when they announced this, and this is all speculative. They thought it was going to be a dragon Eevee or a flying Eevee.
All right,
I don't think I'd like a
dragon
Dragon
or
Eevee.
flying?
Shug's running a
It said white
marathon,
and gray.
Katie.
What I think actually is that Eevee's going to get a mega evolution.
It said white and gray for the color. So I mean,
White and
if
gray.
it's mega, it could be a mega Eevee.
That's what I was thinking, like mega
And
Eevee.
Flying type.
But
Eevee
also,
is
Angelic. Eevee.
yeah.
that
Angelic.
could resemble
Angelion.
flying. I
Hmm?
mean, that would be very Digimon of
Yeah,
them.
that's what I just, yeah.
Angelmon.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
That's
Katie
where I
said, "Are
went.
we getting a ghost, like ghost
I,
type in white
I
and
think
gray?
that that is a possibility as well.
I want a
But
steel
ghost
type.
would be psychic type,
I want steel
right?
type.
Or dark. Ghost is psychic or dark usually.
Give me a future mecha. Mecha Eevee.
Of course,
Or is there ghost and other
What?
types? Or are they all dark and psychic?
there's
It can be
dark,
either
there's
or.
psychic, ghosts,
It could be fire.
there's
There's
Chandelure.
fire ghost.
Chandelure.
Oh,
yes,
Chandelure.
Yeah.
lure.
Oh, and then Phantom.
They switch them sometimes.
Phantom is grass, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
ghost grass.
Yeah. So you know
Yeah.
what? All right, that
So
that that,
sometimes
that
they
could be a
take on their secondary versus just ghost, like a psychic
Mhm.
or dark.
Yeah, the dragon type. Yes, because of Paradise Dragona, and they kept calling it Dragion, and it looked like
Draco.
something out of Spyro.
Yeah.
Yeah, straight up. I even have the picture of it because it was on Hoops and Hip Hop. He
That's what I,
actually
that's what I,
made it.
that's what I
He
imagine when I
actually
think of
made it.
Dragon Eevee is Spyro. Like
Yeah,
you
Well,
hit the nail on the head with my where I was going, but I couldn't remember Spyro.
yeah. It's like Spyro, only light blue instead of a purple. You know.
Do we want a dragon type Eevee?
Dragon Eve, I want a Ghost Eevee because
Yeah.
I feel it's the easiest thing to do.
I think
I
Steel
feel
would be
Still
pretty
goes
cool.
pretty fucking hard.
Some
yeah,
sort of
Real
medieval
slick,
Eevee
like
look.
an Umbreon, but it's like a steel gray and a light blue. I don't know. I could
for
see it.
for ancient, it's like its suit of armor.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, like medieval style.
But
If
could
It's
be
it's
just
future
future,
too, right?
it could be like a UFO looking thing or like a robotic looking like
Mm-hmm.
steel like Iron Man suit.
Yeah. Real sleek looking with some
Yep.
boosters on the back from its tail, like a Reshiram does, or it changes.
Yep.
That'd be pretty cool.
I
Somehow they
feel
I
could
could
like
see that.
incorporate that with a mega steel
yeah.
type. I don't know.
But if they start with a Mega Eevee, they're probably gonna do that for every other evolution too. So that's gonna be like the
So
announcement, all the other megas that are eventually gonna come out as time goes by.
why do you think they spent that amount of time of on Sylveon in the trailer, the Legend ZA? You think there's anything with that? Or I mean, they
Mm,
spent time on Gyarados, they spent time on other Pokemon too, but maybe it's
dwell
just
deeper
because
into
it
that.
was pink in there. I don't know.
What do you mean?
Legend ZA trailer had a. It's been an extra amount of time. It seemed like on the Sylveon while it was running. So I wonder if that has anything to do with anything.
Maybe they wanted to give an evolution more airtime.
Yeah, probably. Yep. I mean, or get a Mega
I hope,
Sylveon.
well, that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not sure because I don't really connect the dots with trailers to the
Ooh.
game because by the time the game comes out, I've already forgot what the trailer was about.
What
So I
if
don't really connect the dots. But I
And
mean,
I
look
don't
what
play
happened with the
the
trainers
current game.
trailer.
I don't have a Nintendo Switch, so I haven't played these games for Pokemon since fucking Game Boy Advance, Game Boy SP.
I don't
Like the 3DS
don't feel
was the
like you have
last
to either though.
handheld I had. Huh?
You
I
should
said
play
don't feel
some.
like you have to or less than because you haven't.
They're so fun.
Yeah.
I would play one if I did have
Yeah.
the console and the game available.
It's just
I
expensive,
don't have
dude.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alpha
So are
Sapphire is a
games. Every fucking
great
game's
part
expensive.
two to Emerald or Sapphire. Alpha Sapphire is a great part two to Sapphire.
What's the game that has I know you said you haven't played a lot, Baze, but what's the game growing up that stuck with you?
Yellow, because you had Pikachu walking around with you everywhere. Pikachu is literally one of my favorite. Check it out. I always have a Pikachu near me.
See,
I
mine was
have
gold. It stuck with me.
gold.
Yeah. When Gold and
Gold
Silver
was
came
cool.
out, it was
Yeah,
different.
Mount Crystal.
Yeah, Crystal. Yeah, that was a big one too.
Crystal was cool. Yeah, the one with Suicune on it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That one was so
Yeah,
yeah.
cool.
yeah. Because
Suicune goes
when
hard as
Pokemon
fuck.
first came out, I had every single
You
Pokemon
you
game
were a
that came
baller if you
out.
had Crystal with the
I
Suicune on the
would
back of
go
your
and
Game Boy.
get them when they released. Like like if there was a new Pokemon cartridge that came out, I'm like, I'm getting it. Why? Because like that's what I was into as a little kid. Like I wanted to have them all. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Well, that
Yeah.
would be like your
But
one big Christmas present or your one big birthday present. Like pick one big one, and then the rest will be shit. Which, or for me at least, right? No. Yeah.
well, for me, growing up, it was weird. Like so for my birthday or for Christmas, whichever one it is, they basically just got me like one item, and it
Yeah.
had to be like below a certain value or whatever. So I remember like at first it was like you get one game, but
What's
it
the
could
one
be
thing
worth
you want?
$30.
Yeah.
Huh?
Like
And
the
I would
one
just
thing
go
you
and
want.
pick the yeah, and then it became like a $50 game because you know how like MSRP kept going up for games and shit, like when PlayStation 2 and fucking like
You
Xbox
remember
and
how expensive TVs used to be
yeah,
when they
I
first?
Mhm.
used to go wait in
Holy shit!
lines for Black
Like
Friday,
32 inches, $1,000. For the flat screens
dude.
just came out.
And that was back in LCD days.
Yeah, that was crazy. And now you can get a 75 inch for $300.
Yeah,
Yup.
That's what.
yeah,
That's
that is
the massive.
nuts.
It's massive difference. VCRs are cost more of that, or about the same these days than what a brand new TV costs.
Oh yeah,
Dorian, first one I played was green, but Sapphire has stuck with me the most. Yeah,
Sapphire.
Sapphire.
Oh, takes me back.
Got a switch light. That's all
Sapphire.
you need to switch light now.
Oh, he was
Memory
saying he's
card.
got a switch up. He's got a switch light just laying around unused. If I want it super cheap,
Oh,
I
there you
might
go.
take you up on
Trade
that
him a
when you
few
find one,
cards.
Dorian.
Nice.
There you go. Trading
Yeah.
card game.
Or get the
Trade cards
emulator.
Ford game.
You can always make the
Yeah.
speed a little quicker that way. It's not the same.
No, it's not. You want to feel
when
official.
when I when I buy media, I just go and buy the
Dorian making me
media.
feel
Like I've
old as
never
fuck.
really liked emulators much.
Since okay, let's.
The only emulators I got were the licensed ones by Nintendo, the mini consoles. You know, the NES Mini, Super
Of course.
the Super NES Mini 2 or what? Fuck, what is it called? Super Nintendo Mini as well. And then we're talking about the PlayStation Mini, the Sega one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a Sega Genesis little mini thing with all the games on it. It's pretty cool. I need to find the controllers though. Did you guys ever cheat with Pokemon Go?
With Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
I
I
have.
never,
Did you ever get the
dude.
download where you can move without moving? Or the
I never played Pokemon Go on my phone. That was something my wife got into. She would play Pokemon Go on the phone, but I never actually did it just because I didn't want to give all the permissions
yeah.
to my phone
Well,
when it first came out.
you hear they had
I
the
didn't like the
they were using everybody's data to make a. I knew that was coming anyways.
map
Yeah.
through the CIA or some shit. Yeah.
I mean, we knew that was coming. Like they're mapping everything.
Yeah. So
Where you're
I don't like
going, what you're doing, where you're at.
I don't like giving untethered access to my devices through different
I'm just
things.
But are we doing anything really that important to even give a shit? I mean, I know. Don't give up security for safety, but
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of like a 50-50. It also depends on like where you're working and everything at that point. When it came out, I was still working at the hospital. So,
yeah.
I felt like there was vulnerabilities that if they were traced back to me, that's a big no-no.
I
So,
also
I
played the
want to make sure I'm as protected as possible, as careful as possible. But now, like it doesn't mean shit if I'm just here at home.
before
If my
Pokemon
device
Go
is
got
just
started, I was playing the Ingress IO. You remember that?
Mhm.
It was eerily similar. I think Pokemon Go just took over their whole concept, and then Pokemon Go blew up.
Was that the Niantic game?
Ingress?
Or-
What?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Was that?
I'm not sure if it was Niantic or not. It might have been because it's basically the exact same, but you're instead of Pokestops, you're hacking into people's shit. I don't know.
I heard there was a game similar to Pokemon Go, and that
Yeah,
there was something about that it was eerily similar.
it's
I think
basically
they just copy pasted the formula. It's the same company.
yeah.
Well, what I heard was it was the same company. I'm not really sure.
Makes sense.
Oh, so Dorian said, Eddie, it hasn't impacted my top secret clearance, so you're good. Pokemon Go was built off of Ingress.
Okay, yeah.
Ingress was made by Niantic. The original Pokestops were Ingress bases.
Ah,
Hmm.
so
I
they
thought Katie was
literally copied
Canadian.
the
Is Katie
Pokestops,
not Canadian?
which were originally the bases for that game.
Katie's Canadian.
That's what I
Katie's in
thought.
Canada.
She said I forgot us in America are
Well,
delayed. Or North America? Probably.
Probably.
Probably. I'm an idiot.
No, it's because she's talking about with Dorian. He grew up in Japan, so he
Okay.
got different releases with the Pokemon games than we did.
Ah, I
There
got you.
was green version, and she was talking about yellow version, and we got released at a different time than they did. So all of North America, when we got the English,
Mm-hmm.
same time. She got the games when we got the games.
Canada's that's
But
true.
Dorian,
Kind of.
yeah, Dorian has been in Pokemon longer than us
Check
because he
this.
was there at Ground Zero.
This is one of my
We were there day one. He was Ground Zero.
yeah.
You mean he was in Japan?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was in Japan. He's Japanese.
Wow.
He's half Japanese.
Wow. So he was there when the whole thing started.
Yeah,
Wow.
and he was there for green version that came out that we didn't get.
Right.
And it was he got those games before we got our games because they released there in Japan first. So
Of
he
course.
was. That's why I say we were there day one here in the U.S.
In
He's Ground
honor.
Zero. He was there
Yeah.
before we were, and
It's
he's
a
like
real
Pokemon.
MVP.
I've been on this.
Here's a collection item that's been sitting on my desk, and in honor of the Canadian. It's $40 Canadian.
Nice.
But they're
Haven't
they're
seen.
they're crazy looking.
Yeah, are they plastic?
Yeah. But it's got the
Yeah,
queen, so
we have the same plastic currency in Central America.
And Katie did say something.
don't ask me why I have
Canada is
$40
still
Canadian.
America, my dear. That's what Katie just said. Canada is still America.
Yeah,
She's
that's
right.
what they all say.
North
That's what they
America.
all say. Depends on how we
Well,
feel.
Trump says that too, doesn't he?
Do what?
Trump says that too, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not the way she's saying, though.
You can buy a pack
And
of
then
gum in the US for that. Yeah, no.
Dorian just said
That's why I
he
want to
used to
keep it.
collect. Dorian used to collect the Cardass and Bandai cards before the TCG came out.
Suge loves card ass. You gotta come back, Dorian, and talk to him about it.
Really?
That's his favorite.
So back when it was called Pocket Monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
Yeah, that's cool.
didn't the
I know
original
America's our
Japanese
continent.
back say it had a different back, right? It said Pocket
Yeah,
Monsters.
Pocket Monsters.
Yeah.
Talking shit, Katie. I know these things. I just got confused for a minute, damn it. America.
Yeah.
You didn't say the north part, so it didn't count.
Hey, it's kind of a trip. Did you know that Mexico, in itself, it's the United States of Mexico? We're the United States of America, but Mexico, in its money, it says Estados Unidos, the United States.
Hmm.
Good old Mexico. I need to go back. How are we feeling about the Gulf of America?
Oh man, that was
We just call it the
to
beach where I'm from. I live on it.
yeah. That was it's supposed to be cheaper on us now, right? With that name change. And by us I mean the US and through all the trade and stuff that goes through there.
Because we own it. We claimed it
E- I don't know
arbitrarily.
how it works exactly, but something about the name being changed is going to affect how much we have to pay on the goods going through that.
Hmm. Well, that explains it, I guess.
Yeah. But going with that, did you hear that to go to Mexico, Americans are going to need a visa?
Oh, really?
That would
So
be
if you're trying to
Good.
go to Cancun or something like that, you're gonna have to
hilarious.
apply for a visa, wait for approval, and then get it. I don't know when it's gonna go into effect or whatever,
At least they
but
know when
that's
you
something
come
that just
missing.
got released.
At least they know when you're missing. Somebody's visa didn't expired. Where they at?
Well, that's the thing. They give you the visa to go in, but do they really check you on the way out to make sure you gave the visa back or something? Like, you get me? Like, it's just a stamp on your passport,
We
right? No
haven't,
one
so
checks you on the way out.
yeah. We haven't been,
Yeah,
so who knows?
yeah.
I'll fix this chair.
Well, shit, I need a Mexican party visa.
Yeah. Just go on a cruise and never come
I'm like
back.
5 minutes away. Like, straight up by car. If you take I-10 down 5 minutes, the border's right there.
Yeah. It'll take me half a day to get to you, Shug. Or FOMO, my bad.
There we go.
Let's see what Dorian says. Dorian says the anime is still called Pocket Monsters, as do the games. They just use Pokemon as the international name and for their company. Pokemon and pocket monsters are still interchangeable. Why I
Interesting.
still wish I had my Japanese citizenship strongest passport.
Strongest passport. Have you guys looked up Okinawa lately?
Okinawa?
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
that's where Suge lives, and it's fucking beautiful.
Oh, I bet.
I think it'd take you to okay, get smart.
It's a long swim.
Yeah. I think most of Japan looks freaking beautiful from what I've seen, honestly, in videos, footage, photos.
Yes,
There's very little portions of Japan that I've seen that I'm like, that just looks like a
right.
crowded
Everything's
little like
clean.
nasty area. Yeah.
There's pride in what they do.
Yeah. And if you go, keep in mind you're probably gonna be in a touristy area
Never call
more than
someone from
likely.
Okinawa Japanese. Okay, good to know.
Ooh, I did not know that.
When I go there in about 20 years.
But yeah, but like I was saying, you're probably going to be somewhere touristy, so it's probably going to be the nicer looking areas, the areas that are kind of more upkept, because that's what's bringing in the revenue from the tourism industry. So I
Yeah.
think it's going to be pretty dope.
You guys got anything else? Any
Oh
topics?
yeah, you said you didn't have any
Yep.
today.
Hung up on us.
What happened?
Yeah, it just did it again. You didn't have anything for the show and tell thing today.
Oh shit. I did have the Canadian, but um
Oh, you had the Canadian thing. All
I actually do have something that just came today. Give me a sec.
right, all right. I
oh
got two
no.
things, but I could just show one if we just want to do like one. You know what I mean?
Well, it don't matter.
Let's do a
You
quickie.
can grab
'Cause
something
it's
random,
I
man.
gotta go to sleep soon.
So this thing right here, we got at GameStop. My wife saw it and she decided to get it. She likes random weird little blind bags like this, and it's a SpongeBob
Oh,
The
SquarePants
popsicles?
thing. Yeah, they look like popsicles and they got a bite missing. There's a chase. There's two
I've
chases.
never
There's
seen the other
SpongeBob chases.
popsicles before. We're missing out. I've only seen the SpongeBob.
Yeah, yeah. I get you, like in the actual popsicles, but
Yeah.
these aren't like the ones you eat.
Right.
They're
Right.
like vinyl toys. And there's two chases, right? So your odds at getting like one of the chases is supposed to be not as high. She got the actual one of the chases,
Oh
Doodle Bob.
shit. Doodlebop.
nice.
That's cool as hell.
Yeah. So she
Is
bought
he?
one single bag, and the two chases are a chrome SpongeBob or Doodle Bob.
Turn it sideways. Like the thickness of
Yeah.
it.
Oh,
That's a thick boy. Yeah, that's a whole ass popsicle right there.
yep. And you could actually mount it two different ways.
Oh, cool.
You could mount it this way if you want.
That's cool. I've never seen those before.
And it's pretty cool. It's by Culture Fly.
Looks pretty good quality. Just a
Yeah.
They are technically a conquered area called the Ryukyu Kingdom. So they are Ryukyuan or Okinawan. I think ethnically are separate, mixed but separate. Yeah. Okay.
Mm.
The island people. Can we say that?
I
Ooh,
got the
Oh
PSA.
shit.
Naruto?
The PSA
It's
No,
Avatar.
magazine.
Avatar, my bad. Yeah.
Yeah, this just came today.
Did you
I
get a
knew it was
card with it?
wrong right as I said Naruto.
Or
No,
I mean the
that
cover.
one's
What's the
coming
cover?
next month. The cover's Avatar.
Well, the other covers, like the alternate ones.
Oh, good point. I didn't even check. Wait, what? Oh, is this the variant cover?
Yeah, there's a it should be
It
numbered.
seems like this is the variant cover.
Oh, you got the rare
I
one.
got the special edition one apparently, and it had to be Avatar. Like they couldn't send me the Black Rayquaza. They
Yeah.
had to send me freaking this guy.
That's still I mean it's cool that you got the rare one though.
Actually, I really like Avatar, so this works. If only there was Zuko in here, that would be
Yeah.
so cool. But I
That's
still
another
Where
one
is the fire?
I didn't get into. I didn't get into Avatar that much, bro.
And
I
it
didn't get
has
into
like
the later
right there.
ones.
I can't grade it.
And I didn't get into Naruto very much either. But
Oh, man.
I know how to distinguish between them both. My brother was into Naruto.
Yeah.
Bro, Naruto is like my childhood.
Yeah, it was.
Right
It's
there.
yeah.
I grew up with the will of fire.
What is
What is
that?
this? Like Kid Robot, and it says Futurama on the side, and that's a little silhouette. I
Oh,
mean,
isn't that the mini robot? Is that a Funko?
well, no, it's not a Funko, but it is like the Funkos. They're like little vinyl things.
Yeah, that's crazy. Look, you get the
Cool.
most random shit days.
This is like worth a lot of money sealed.
Mm-hmm. And this one's been open. It's just in the little clamshell while I keep it away. You get me?
Yeah.
I don't know what I have. Is it fuzzy?
That's cool.
Yep, it is.
That's crazy.
That's why it's kept in the clamshell when it's not like out.
Yeah.
I don't want it to just get a bunch of dust and get
Is it
dirty. It's
movable?
Nibbler. It's called Nibbler. It's from Futurama. It's the
Yeah.
little like creature that Leela has as a pet that eats everything and it
Yeah.
poops out dark matter, and it
I
makes
just
dark matter which they need for the ship to use as fuel. And this is what created the show Futurama. In the very last episode, you find out that Nibbler was, well, it wasn't the very last episode, but it's towards the last seasons. You find out Nibbler went back in time and created the whole scene where Fry gets tipped over into his chair, gets locked into the cryogenic freezer. It was Nibbler who like made him fall and shit and get locked in there because they needed Fry to go to the future for something that was necessary from Fry in the future.
Oh.
Interesting.
So it's in the meta. It's legit one of like the most important characters for Futurama.
'Cause he makes shit
I do have
happen.
a
He
Bender
makes
as
all the
well.
stuff happen.
Mhm.
Is Bender's stomach open?
On the Bender that I have, his stomach's not open now.
I don't know what I got, guys. I gotta. Ugh. Let me get Master Chief.
Yeah.
Cortana.
That's cool. Surprised you can talk through
Word.
that.
Clamshell's back on. It has tabs that you pop into place. There's 4 tabs.
Cool. Oh, so you can put it back in, no problem.
Yeah. It's meant to be sealed back in its clamshell packaging when you put it away. I really like that. The helmet.
Yeah, the helmet is super cool.
That's my baby.
Would you do the rest of the suit, like to
If I
run
could
a full
afford
fucking
it,
like?
fuck yeah, I would. I'd wear it every day of my life.
How
I'd sleep in
expensive?
that shit. Master Cortana. Yeah. I love Halo.
How expensive is that
Oh,
suit?
the suit, like a good one?
Yeah.
Too much. Probably a couple grand for like a
Dang.
Comic-Con worthy Master Chief.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. It'd be worth it though. Are they talking shit to each other in the chat?
They are. It's Katie talking shit with Dorian, and they're talking shit with each other, and they're talking about Japan because when Katie does go to Japan, she wants to go maybe to Dorian's old stomping grounds over there.
Sonny, you guys want to call it? It's pretty late. It's
Yeah.
2 o'clock here.
Yeah. I need to make sure my parents are in one piece in the other room.
Your
Yeah,
poor
it's been a little
parents.
over 2.5 hours, huh?
Yeah. Man.
Yeah, it is longer than their average movie. I don't know if they're tearing each other to shreds by now.
Well, it was fun, boys. It was
Yeah.
honestly fun. I think we touched on most of what we wanted to touch today, and if not,
If we
next
didn't, we
episode.
got more time. Yeah.
Definitely.
We're good.
Yeah. Very interesting conversation today.
I appreciate
A lot of
everybody
different-
stopping by as well. Thank you guys. It means a lot.
Appreciate
The support.
Laters, everybody.
Yeah. I'm calling it. Love you guys.